You're listening to Well, I Laughed, Part 2 of Better Together. Gone, but not forgotten.
Hi, I'm Grant.
You gotta stop doing that. Because
But
every
it's so
time I
enjoyable
almost
to me.
say, and that's Maia. And it's really bad.
Hi, good to see you.
I know, we haven't recorded like a real episode in like a while.
No, we haven't done this exact kind of like sit down meet and greet in a while.
Meet and greet?
I know. Well, I don't know what else to say it. I agree, and they meet. I don't know.
Who are they meeting?
Also, for those of us watching from home, as is now customary with American summer, the air is on fire because of a fire elsewhere, which triggered overnight a lot of people in Denver's allergies with all the smoke from wildfires that are now drifting in. So I am great, despite the fact that the right side of my face will occasionally like swell up and my nose will drain. My partner, when I got home today, was asking like how work was, and because we're hosting kind of like some summer workshops for some students right now, and like asking about the paper.
Oh yeah, how was camp? I totally forgot that was happening.
Yeah, so good, but he was gaming when we started off that conversation, and he like looked over like for half a second and then looked back to the game and then paused the game and looked again, and he goes,
like,
"Are you okay?" And I go, "Oh yeah, sorry, no, I'm not crying. My eyes are just leaking from all of the allergies. This has to probably be a pretty confusing image for you to get right now."
Yeah.
Yeah. So he does love me, you know.
Grant's like, and it was all a test.
Exactly. Exactly. No, camp's been great. We have such a fun group of young people, and I think a lot of teachers experience this once you get into that like 10-year range. Like this coming year will be my 12th year teaching, where you know, those first couple of years, you're just trying so hard to prove something that you like know what you're doing and that like you made the right decision and blankety blank. And I think that's true for a lot of people's careers.
Yeah.
But then the really interesting thing about teaching is you don't really then change positions unless like you intend to. Like, So you just kind of then become better at your job. And I am so much better at this job than I was a decade ago. But all of that is to say, when you let go of the need to like prove something, you just get a chance to enjoy like what actually brought you into education. So we have kids talking about scripts and ideas and stories and debate cases that they want to run. And I'm just like, hell yeah, man. Like, let's make that happen for you. I'm like so less concerned of like, is that going to be like
a national qualifier?
Yeah, the winning formula. And of course we have a couple of kids who like have like stated their goal is national finals or state champ or whatever. And I'm so excited to work with those kids too. But I'm at that stage now where I'm like, I can't want it more than you and I can't do it for you, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to give you my guidance. I'm going to give you my honest reaction to what you're telling me, right? If you might love this and if I'm like, I don't think it's going to get you to where you want to go, right? Like I'm just going to be honest with that.
Yeah.
But I just get to focus on how much I enjoy the subjects that I get to teach. So it's been great. It's been really, really good. Camp's been
like,
great.
Fucked up of you, but whatever.
I also, teachers on summer break, you'll appreciate this too. For almost my entire coaching and teaching career, I made the mistake of running our camps from like 10 a.m. to like 2 p.m. One year, I think I did like 9 a.m. to noon. I even did one year noon to 3 p.m. or like noon to 4, noon to 5 p.m. This year, I finally got wise. I was like, I don't want a reason to be getting anywhere early in the morning. I don't want it.
Neither do your students.
Right. I don't want it to overgo. I don't want it to overlap with like a meal period, which I could be like eating at home. Like I will eat so many sad lunches at school. 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. The perfect amount of time. 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., 2 days. It's enough to do anything without it being so much time that you can feel like you can do it later. Like we're going to just do it now.
It also like leaves them wanting more.
Correct.
You know,
100%.
Instead of already being tired of whatever it is that they're doing. So
it's been phenomenal.
Do you have any fun scripts that you're excited about? Or ideas for scripts?
Yeah, a couple. We have two kids who, well, first off, the script as it comes to us is like wildly inappropriate. Basically, these two high school senior girls throw a party because their mom's out of town, and one of them is afraid they might be pregnant afterwards and have to go get like a Plan B pill, and of course like the pharmacist says no because they're like a moral objector, and then they have to go on a road trip to like a Planned Parenthood, and it's not for an abortion. There's been movies like that. It's like specifically for a Plan B pill, so it kind of all happens in 48 hours, and there's like an interaction with like a person that can make fake IDs, and there's like all these like various moments, and when you strip away the things that are inappropriate to consistently have high schoolers perform,
right?
There's a really funny story there at the heart of it that talks a lot about like both access and like your right to make your own medical decisions, but also like the shame we carry and how that then shows up in our relationships with our friends and family.
Yeah.
And considering that it's a senior and a junior, or like a rising senior and a rising junior that cut it, I'm actually really impressed by the story that these two girls have like put together and that they're looking to tell. And then we have two different kids in a duo who the script is very much about what we lose when we seek to change, and if we're okay with those trade-offs, right?
I like that.
Yeah, I like the main character. I think swallows like a AI computer pill or whatever that'll help make them all the decisions for him. And they're about to leave the house or the mall or something, and the computer chip AI thing is like, you must wear this Eminem t-shirt, like the rapper Eminem, and he's like, I don't want to do that. That sounds
awful.
Like no one does that anymore. And he was like, you must listen to me. And so he's like, okay, and he puts it on and he goes to the mall, and they go, oh my God, Jeremy, can you believe Eminem died? Like, so beautiful. And then there's like this like conversation where he's like, oh my God, did you kill Eminem? And he's like, talk to the girls, Jeremy, talk to the girls, right? And so there's like moments like that, and again, it's funny. In that case, it's a rising sophomore and a rising senior that have put together that story.
I was going to ask if it's a duo or not.
Yeah. You obviously know all these kids. I'll tell you off air.
Probably. Oh, that's hysterical.
And those are just the first kind of two stories off the top that I've had the most time to read. We have two kids who are cutting a league of their own, which means a lot because this is the inaugural year of the Professional Women's Baseball League.
Right.
And that's really cool. We have a one boy who's doing Fight Club and has cut Fight Club down on his own.
Damn.
And the thing I love about the child is they are not afraid to, at the drop of a hat, throw themselves across the room. Like that child has enrolled themselves into their own Fight Club, which is actually shockingly close to the actual story of Fight Club.
Your kids are dedicated to the bit,
they
if
really
nothing
are.
else.
I told them at the start of camp yesterday that I was like, I feel like in the 2 years that I've taken over the program, we've done a lot intentionally about like building a level of skill and like access points to those skills in a community where we like all water each other's garden, right? And like we all grow together. And so in that process, we've had tremendous success. It's been fantastic. It's been a joy to teach them the last 2 years. But I looked at them and I was like, in many ways, it feels like we've kind of done the thing.
Yeah.
Like obviously there's still things we want to prove because we always want to be improving, and success is fun. But like, no one's out here doubting us, guys. So let's just get back to why we enjoy doing this.
Aww.
Not to keep like monologuing, but to like finish this all up.
Oh, I like it.
With ironically like the very first thing I told them day one of camp. I go, a couple months ago, my parents told me that they didn't love me. They specifically brought crates of my childhood toys and memories to my house. And they were like, we don't want to hold your childhood belongings any longer. Which, side note, why? Your house is bigger than mine and no one lives there anymore.
My parents were like, we're not going to move with your childhood belongings.
And I'm like, okay, but I'm not moving with you. So you could at least bring a part of me wherever you go. And also, you have a giant basement and I don't. So anyways, I was like, haha, and everyone's like, oh, funny, huh? And I was like, but one of those boxes was a box of a bunch of my old speech and debate awards. And I haven't like thrown it away because I actually think it would make the funniest decor for like a party.
Wait, sorry. Is it the one where you got awarded the speech and debate award?
So I have a whole, not to like toot my own horn and be like the quarterback who like could have gone off to college D1 if he didn't get like that knee injury his senior year. But like
that's you almost every day.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not aware. I'm not unaware. It's a crate of awards that I won in high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's not a singular award. Yeah, it's a crate of awards that I won.
I got the luxury of seeing when your mom brought all that stuff over, her like you went upstairs for something and she like ran to the crate and pulled out like this big poster that has a picture of and like stuck it on the fridge and was like hee hee hee.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what the fuck?
You mean after my parents got a little buzzed at my Super Bowl party?
Yeah, before they got overwhelmed by everything else that was going on.
Before they just had to post up at the corner and just power through some dip to try to level out.
Try to level out, yeah.
Gotta listen. Everyone's invited, but not everyone can hang. Anyways,
I can't hang increasingly.
So I'm telling my students at the start of day one, I was like, I got this big crate of like childhood memories from my parents, and in it is all of the awards I won when I was in high school speech and debate. And it's so funny because it's like, what am I going to do with this? I'm not going to display it. Like, and I'm looking at my students, 14, 15, 16. And I'm like, imagine you walk into like a grown person's home. And they're like, yeah, see that? Won it when I was 15, you know? And it's like a plastic, essentially bowling statue, right? Like, I'm like, guys, what am I going to do? Am I going to display it next to like photos of like the trips I've been on with my friends and family, the like things I've gathered from those adventures, or like, you know, even like some of the professional awards that I've won? Like, no offense to high school me, but like Teacher of the Year means way more to me now,
like,
and is objectively way more impressive than like 14-year-old third place at the Bring Your Grandma Invitational. So I'm looking at them and I'm like, so obviously it's fun to win awards. I'm not going to be out here and like nag you on that.
I will say, if it's a cool looking award, I will accept any year.
Okay. You're going to love the silver plate that I have in this. And I have a couple of serving dishes that are engraved in this crate of awards.
Oh.
I think it's going to make the funniest decor for a party. So I'm looking at them and I'm like, you know, like, we want you to take away something so much more meaningful than like a piece of plastic you're not going to bring with you to college, or that your parents are going to give you when you're 33.
Right.
Right. Like, we want you to take more from this than just like that very brief moment of recognition. How many of you in this room right now have actually lost your trophy by accident between getting it at awards and getting home at the end of the night from like went to Burger King or whatever else? Like, how many of you lost a couple pieces of those?
I was, as a high schooler, I was not entered in a lot of things wherein I could win awards.
Okay.
So I think this is very niche, because at every single one of the tournaments, there are awards given out. And so I was like, why the fuck would you be telling your students not to be proud of themselves? And then I was like, wait, okay, they're like, it's a lot different.
I'm very proud of them. Different. Some of them, not uncommon for them to win like 10 pieces of award hardware in a month.
Which is just mind-blowing. I have like one trophy I'm proud of.
And it's displayed in Maia's living room, and we're going to talk off air.
I actually have no idea about it, where it is.
Listen, I'm the last one off the bus, and I always, because I then go through the seats to check, like, did anyone lose a phone or a wallet? The two most inconvenient things to try to replace. Everything else, fuck it, you left it at the tournament. But like, I'm like, our phones, wallets, and every time I find awards. At least one. And so I'm looking at them and I'm like, you know, guys, like, even if you don't view yourself as an artist, like, what you are doing here should matter and should mean something. And let's remember that when we engage in this work.
I'm not going to show like the logo or anything, but I do have a speech and debate award. Second place. It was offered to me for free at a tournament I judged by one of Grant's friends. They found who listens to the podcast.
They found a bunch of just extra awards in a closet
and
from
I was
10 years ago.
I've never won an award, and she was like, "Do you want third place or second place?" And
you were
or
like,
both.
You said yes.
Yes. I don't know where the third place one is right
now. And so then what was fun too is then at the end of today, end of the second day of camp, last moment before they're off for the rest of the summer break, they have about 2.5 more weeks. I look at them and I go, if you are leaving right now feeling like you have actually not accomplished all that much, I just want you to remember that like creative work is not linear. And if you are leaving this with very little physical to show for it, but you like engaged in creative processes, you had like funny or interesting or sound ideas in conversations you had. If you came in with a topic and you are leaving now without a topic because you had conversations and it didn't align, you've actually done so much work. And it's not going to feel that way because of just the very nature of creative work. But like, that is it.
Yeah. He's so inspiring sometimes.
It's also really helpful that right now I am working on like a 20-page history paper. And I think I spend about 20% of my time actually pressing the keys and writing, and 80% of the time like drafting in my head and like composing ideas. And it's like, how do you explain to someone that over the last 15 minutes I have written a sentence and like made coffee, like did the laundry, like stood outside for a second and just stared off into space. But
the elementary school across the street is like, Jesus Christ.
I'm like master and commander on the deck of my townhome looking out.
Washington on the canoe.
Exactly. Mr. Sparrow, what do you see off in the distance? But I'm like, but it's kind of all come together, and I've had a chance to think about these things, and now I can go upstairs and like then impart them in the order that I want, but it just takes a lot of stuff. So it's been good.
Wow. I'm happy for you.
Wow.
And also you went on a Europe trip that we recorded 2 Patreon episodes. Dear listener, remember that time that I said this is the closest we're ever going to get to recording like 2 1 episode releases? We have now pushed that envelope by I think a day.
Cross the red line.
Yep, cross the red line. But it was partially because Grant was on vacation and then schedules, and then also like I was like, oh shit, we're recording tomorrow.
Oh no.
Oh no. And then work didn't cooperate with me in a way that I wanted to, so that I could like get the story to whatever. So we recorded 2 Patreon episodes 2 days ago, but we have not recorded any like real episodes yet.
Right.
But do you have anything you want to talk about from the Europe vacation on the main episode?
It was a lot of fun. This is kind of cool actually, maybe to talk about. My partner moves into my house in less than a month, like in 3 weeks. Like it's gonna stop
Holy
being
shit, that's so soon. Whoa.
Which is crazy because this is like the deadline we've been talking about for like 2 months.
No, I'm aware, but it felt like when you told me that, I was like, oh, that's like so far away.
Right. And it's like in 3 weeks. And the reason why I mentioned that in the context of this conversation is after having traveled abroad with my family,
it's a big one,
but also just to our own devices also. Like we had a fun mix and match of challenges thrown at us. Moving in together feels like
easy.
Yeah, like kind of like a nothing burger. I don't actually know if since getting back from the trip, he has actually spent a night back at his apartment, to the point where last night actually we had a conversation. We were like, hey, like let's just have a check-in real quick. Like we came back from this trip and just like immediately fell into a routine. Yeah. Like how are we feeling? And he was like, I feel good. I feel really good about the routine. I go, yeah, I do too. I just kind of wanted
and your AC works a lot better than that.
It got fixed.
It did?
I'm willing to have drinks at his place on Friday before we walk out to the bar.
That's big. That's big, y'all.
So no, Europe trip was great. We watched the World Cup off the coast of Spain. Everyone on the boat, which was full of like people from across the globe, booed when President Trump was shown on the screen.
That's just so heartening.
Almost no one booed louder than the Americans on the boat, which felt really, really good.
You have to boo loud enough that all of the people, the non-Americans around you, hear you booing.
Correct.
Because now we have something to prove. Like,
not us. We're one of the good ones.
Not us. I promise.
Oh, actually, okay. Two quick little asides. I feel like I really dominated our check-in today.
My brain is still trying to figure out how to start the story.
Happy to keep going.
Yeah. No, you're good.
2 quick asides. First, we went jet skiing off the island of Corsica and had like a wonderful time. And there was 8 of us in our party, and there was only 4 jet skis. So we all like partnered up with like our cabin mate. So like mom and dad, sister and her friend, brother and sister-in-law, me and my partner, and we all jet ski out, and the instructor is great and he's super cool, and we go like snorkeling for a little bit, and then we jet ski to a different bay, and we're surrounded by like crystal clear blue water. Like it's this bay, so you have these like gorgeous like kind of Mediterranean cliffs where it's like brown and green and blue, and it's like a perfect day and it's gorgeous. And he goes, so can I ask you guys, you're Americans, what are your thoughts on Charlie Kirk? You could have given me 100 guesses.
You actually did give me and Lydia several guesses.
Correct.
Neither of us got it.
And we all kind of just stared at each other being like, in the middle of the Mediterranean on like a gorgeous once in a lifetime experience.
The last place I wanted to think about him, but thank you.
My mom was like, didn't agree with him, but said he was killed for what he believed in. Not even getting into the fact that it was like, if it is the person they accused it was actually because he wasn't right wing enough or right wing in the right way.
Crazy.
So funny, but well, I mean, also sad, but also
there's so much to get into.
There's a lot
it's
into
nuanced.
Correct. It's actually so nuanced. I'm not interested in talking about it on a jet ski adventure in the middle of
where I could drown. Yeah, I'm not super keen on that.
Yeah. And while we knew the way back, there was a passage on the way back where you kind of need to follow him so you don't run aground from secret underwater rocks, as is the nature of some of these bays. And then the last thing about my little Europe trip, and then we can get into the story.
Yeah.
I've had the very incredible privilege now this was my third time going to Europe. And I do know how like lucky I am. And also to be totally truthful here, like if it wasn't like a family vacation and we were celebrating like a family milestone, it was not a vacation that was in my budget for this year, right?
Oh,
Just to be like totally honest about that too.
Because you started a grad program.
Correct. I donated a lot of plasma lately. So if you need plasma byproducts, you're welcome.
He won't supply them, but he is helping.
Getting paid for it.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, you go to Europe for the first time and you're like, you must go. It changes your life. Unfortunately, I am back in that camp, but now with an interesting new Pokemon evolution.
Oh.
If you've done Europe once before and done the like Flixbus to the hostel to the like budget hotel, to the Eurostar train at 3 a.m. in the morning. If you've done Europe backpacking on hard mode, honey, you must take a cruise.
Europe is really nice on easy mode. I haven't done a cruise, but I have done it on Casey's parents' budget, and that really does change how easy it is.
Sleeping in to air conditioning.
Yes.
Waking up and getting a breakfast of food that I recognize and that my stomach like agrees with. Getting the exact iced coffee order I want.
Not feeling ashamed of having to order something
or just
iced.
steaming espresso, destroying one sad little ice cube. And then getting off the boat and engaging in like 3 to 5 hours of like food and art and culture, whatever. And then getting back on the boat and taking like an American shower and then swimming in a pool that serves you cocktails and has a DJ.
That's nice.
Is actually so incredible. And I know you're like, no shit, Grant, that's a vacation. Of course it's incredible. I'm telling you, take a cruise. It takes care of all the transportation for you. It happens in the middle of the night when you're sleeping. You don't have to unpack more than once. All of these were benefits we pitched to mom and dad to get them to go and then ended up falling in love with ourselves. So that's it.
I just really wish it wasn't on a boat.
I went to Europe on a cruise and it changed my life.
Shut the fuck up. I studied abroad.
It also feeds really well into the type of vacationer I am and that I'm almost positive that you are.
Oh, yeah.
Which is that, like, I actually don't want a busy schedule. I'm actually fine with 3 to 6 hours of activities a day.
I can do an asterisk on that because we do backroads trips every year with Casey's parents.
True.
I'm fine to do activities throughout the day. I think Casey and I's ideal vacation, that we want to be a relaxing vacation, we plan one thing a day. And that can be like go to a museum. And then like when we went to New York, I think Casey's like brain chemistry changed around vacations because he was like, we did one thing a day and we just wandered to and from that general direction. It was magical. And I was like, babe, we could have been whatever. We could be doing this all the time. Multiple plans scare my husband. But Backroads like plans everything, and like basically you have to fuck up and get lost for you to have to make any serious decisions. Like they put the meal in front of you and then they're like, and what would you like for dessert?
I love that.
Yeah, and like those are the kinds of decisions you're making, and I'm happy to go hiking. Like truly, there are some days inevitably on the trip that I'm like but then I end up really enjoying it because whatever. Anyway, that was a little tangent.
That's your asterisk.
That's my asterisk.
And
it was a long asterisk.
I don't really share it. I actually think I might have done too many activities on this. I think I would have been fine with one more just on the boat
I think you self-traumatized yourself from hiking.
Probably, but there's more than one occasion that fits that bill.
Anyway, ready for a story?
I think so. I'm ready to hear who's better together.
Okay, so first I have to do a shout out for a fellow podcast. This podcast reached out to us like forever ago asking to do an ad swap. And then I did that thing where I didn't respond for months at a time because I don't respond for months at a time. And then finally I got our lovely Jeanette, who's like managing a lot of our ads, to respond. And so we're doing an ad swap.
Yay!
They recorded it like shortly after I sent like the like bullet point list that they asked for, and then emailed again today and were like, hey, have you recorded yours yet? And I was like, sorry, we literally haven't recorded since you sent this, so I'm working on it. So anyway, this is for our friend Daniel. So Candy Dandy is the name of the podcast, and these are some of the highlights that he wanted you guys to know. Candy Dandy is the world's only podcast devoted entirely to reviewing candy. It's hosted by Greg Gonzalez, Beto Sistos, and Daniel Zafran. There are 3 longtime best friends / comedians / candy obsessives. Each episode, they pick a different candy, give its history, and then taste and review it on air with all the mouth sounds edited out.
Good.
I felt the tension from Grant on that one.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to clink ice near the microphones.
Each episode then ends with a candy-related game. They've done an episode on Snickers and found out it was named after a horse. They discovered the connection Butterfingers have to the atomic bomb.
Hell yeah.
They tasted way too many peach rings with Comedy Bang Bang and SNL's Carl Tart. And if you love candy, you're going to love the show. I listened to a handful of episodes on our recent travels, and I can attest it's a funny show. And they cover all the candies you love from your childhood and more. Find Candy is Dandy, the candy review podcast, anywhere podcasts are found.
I'm going to use the Candy and Dandy podcast to quench my hunger for candy podcast, and then also to justify quenching my hunger for candy.
Interesting. Because I feel like if you're going to listen to the Candy Dandy podcast, you kind of have to have the candy that they're reviewing, right? If it's an easily accessible one, like if it's a international one or whatever, but whatever. Anyway.
That'd be such a highly successful subscription model. Like, subscribe to us and we'll send you a small package. If only we were smart in that way, but I can't send them tiny little morsels of I.W. Wells.
Gee, you could have sent them all like one block of cheese for the cheese episode. Yeah, that one day, if I get enough time, we could do something like that. It's not right now. But let's get into today's story, shall we?
Let's get into it.
I've gone back and forth several times on how to start this, so we're just kind of winging the start based off of what I kind of think I want to do. I'm going to refer to these people by their last names, and then very shortly I will reveal what their first names are, but just to get into it. We're going to January of 1930 in Texas. Okay. There is a pair, Barrow and Parker. They have become inseparable very recently. And Barrow is coming over to... Stop fucking laughing.
Okay, go ahead.
You know exactly what I'm doing.
I have a pretty solid guess.
Fuck you, dude. Like, do you see what I have to fucking deal with?
I'm getting a doctorate in history. I'm sorry.
Neither of these people are gay.
Now, how funny would it be if I'm so wrong?
It would be fucking hilarious, but you would never tell me.
Yeah, I will tell you.
Okay.
Do you want me to write down my guess right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lock it in.
Locking it in.
Lock it in.
A feature we don't... oh, wait, hold on.
This is why I don't let Grant check his phone, because it's impossible to edit out. Because he just stops mid-sentence.
Sorry, that's so fair, but you'll appreciate this. My partner was like, what time are you going to be home tonight, do you think? And I was like, oh, I think like, blah, 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 like probably by 11. Yeah. And he was like, cool, I'm going to DoorDash something. Editor's note, because I'm not there to cook dinner tonight. And then he goes,
God, I love him.
I'll get you something too. God, I love him. Also, I love to cook. This is not like an abusive relationship.
No.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to just turn the rest of this grocery list, because I do all the cooking, into my guess. And I didn't even respond to my partner's text. There you go.
He gave me the phone.
So that way I can't change it or anything.
Okay.
Locked in.
I think I would have noticed if you had changed it. But anyway, they fall in love first sight, basically. They become inseparable. Parker invites Barrow over to her house to meet her mother, whose name is Emma, but we'll call her Mrs. Parker. And he's meeting her for the first time. And she's already kind of unimpressed with him for her dear sweet daughter, and is even more unimpressed with him when Barrow is arrested at the house.
Oh.
He's like, Mrs. Parker, so nice to meet you. I'm going to treat your daughter so good. And knock, 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 here are the cops. You're coming with us.
Hilarious.
For charges in multiple cities related to automobile theft.
Okay.
Yeah. So
What a first impression.
He's sent to Huntsville State Prison shortly after, and it's like kind of far away from where they live, but Parker still comes to visit him every single day. And then Barrow is talking to either his like cellmate or someone that he's met in the prison, and he knows he's going to get transferred somewhere, I think, farther away soon. And so it's kind of becoming urgent and that he get out of this situation somehow. And his friend tells him in confidence that at his house, which is relatively nearby, there is a pistol, and he can actually draw a map exactly to where the pistol or Colt or whatever it is. I think it's a Colt. When Parker comes to visit, she's already charmed the fucking pants off of everyone in this goddamn jail.
Classic.
So even to the point where she's getting extra visiting hours to visit Barrow. She's allowed to use like the private restroom that's like meant only for staff.
Nice.
So when Barrow gives her a map of like how to steal a gun and then asks her to bring it to him, smuggle it into the jail for him, she's like, I really like all those like action movies, and what a good way to become like the perfect little heroine and steal this gun and commit my first ever crime, breaking my boyfriend out of jail.
Can I ask what age this person is?
They are
This is
early
such teenage
20s,
shit to do.
maybe.
Yeah.
They're like 19, 20.
Nothing
probably.
says my frontal lobe is not fully developed and I am completely emotionally unregulated and should not be trusted to my own devices.
Yep.
More so than for my boyfriend who has stolen multiple cars in multiple cities and is now locked away in jail. Let me go
Who
get
I
a
met like
weapon
a month ago.
and bring it. Jesus Christ. This is, by the way, just so you all know, this is the sequel to Romeo and Juliet if they don't die at the end of Romeo and Juliet. I guess spoiler alert to a 600-year-old play. But it's like listen, you know that couple.
Yeah.
And they're annoying.
They're
Don't you dare. Don't you
Oh,
dare.
yeah.
He's way cooler about it than I am.
Yeah.
I'm annoying, but don't you put that on him, Ricky Bobby.
I'm never putting it on him. He's pretty well regulated about the whole thing.
Right, and everyone is shocked.
Yes. Okay.
Lydia at the little hangout had like a little drink in her, a couple drinks in her.
I love her.
And was talking to someone about my relationship, my new relationship, and she goes, "No, it's crazy, it's crazy. No, all of us, no, really, all of us, all of us. Thought he was gonna die alone. Thought he was gonna be alone forever."
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and I was like, I mean, you're actually 100% 10 toes down correct, but just like kind of crazy to hear it out loud. Okay,
But
so
at least you're in a good enough place now
Oh,
that
absolutely.
you're laughing about it.
And for the record, I was also in a really good place beforehand. My life really was quite happy.
There was
beforehand.
a couple months where I think you were scared about how strong your feelings were for him. That I feel like anytime anyone said anything, you were just like knocking on wood. You're like, please no.
Throwing things. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Barrow and his accomplice now have the gun. Parker has successfully smuggled it into the jail and given it to him. The two play the classic sick prisoner act. And the accomplice, Barrow's accomplice, is like, I feel really unwell. Like, guard, come here. I need a nice glass of milk to settle my stomach.
Milk. Oh my
Crazy decision.
Oh my god.
And I think the guard maybe was like, shut the fuck up. And then he was like, no, I think I'm going to like vomit. And so the guard was like, okay, I would rather get you milk than clean up vomit. And so he goes to get the milk and then comes back. And when he comes back, Barrow has the gun, I think, pointed at him. They manage to like either like knock him out or something. They get the keys and then they escape. Let me make sure I got everything. Then Barrow, without even telling Parker and his accomplice, Barrow and his accomplice escape all the way to like Western Ohio, Western Ohio. The only way Parker found out that the jailbreak was successful was by reading the headline in the newspaper.
After she had gotten him the weapon and everything, men will do it to you.
And she is so paranoid about, like, because she's watched all these films, you know, and she's paranoid about being, like, tracked down as an accomplice, even though no one would ever think sweet-faced, little, innocent, perfect, charismatic Parker is going to do anything like this.
Right.
And so she actually makes sure that she doesn't buy, like, any bus tickets or train tickets to take her back home. She, like, hitchhikes home, which is, like, it's not a short distance. It's like, bitch, you didn't have to be doing all that. But anyway... What is your guess?
Bonnie and Clyde.
It's Bonnie and Clyde.
Can I tell you why I knew it was Bonnie and Clyde?
I literally said 1930s Texas, and you started smiling. I was like, this fucking asshole.
But it's so gay, the reason I know why. During this time, during the time of, like, their, like, big spree, Texas will have its first female governor.
Oh, really?
Is that covered in this at all?
No.
Okay, so Texas has its first female governor largely because, like, her husband gets elected and then died. And she's like, listen, here's the state Democratic Party. You're going to go ahead and appoint me. And they're like, yes, you will. And in the movie, I have, like, I don't remember the details of the actual, like, what happens and then the escalation or whatever. I mean, I know the ending because it's Romeo and Juliet. But in the movie, I do know for a matter of fact, Kathy Bates plays the female Texas governor.
Oh, fucking incredible.
That's why when you were like 1930s Texas, I was like, oh, Kathy Bates. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, so it's
Reminder to Maya in the future, when we're trying to surprise Grant, we can't say any dates or locations. We have to keep it solely focused on the story.
And maybe kind of peruse Kathy Bates' IMDb page before.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. I was going to do an intro based off of a documentary that I just saw. I've watched 2 documentaries recently that have, one stuck with me so much, I had to, like, start it over and rewatch it because, like, shit was starting to get real crazy and I started to get so confused, and I'm just going to tease it out. Right. I don't know if I'm going to keep this, but it's fucking insane. One day I'm going to cover it. It's this couple that comes together and basically the guy's ex starts seriously harassing his current girlfriend.
Okay.
And like really disgusting threats, like incredibly violent, is like always saying like something bad's gonna happen to you like tomorrow, or like good luck at work tomorrow, hope it all goes well, and like really, really creepy things like that. And then you start digging into each of their backstories and you find out that his current girlfriend had previously faked cancer. Like she was with someone and told him that she had like developed cancer, had to go through chemo. She started wearing like hats, and then someone realized that she kept like tucking her hair back into. Bitch, if you're gonna fake cancer, you gotta go all
shave it off.
What the fuck?
It's super liberating, but also you do gotta commit.
You gotta commit to the bit. And then he like took her to an appointment. She wouldn't let him go in, and it turned out it was like to remove a mole or something. And she was like, anyway, fucking crazy. So let's go back to Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know what I We're going to start with Clyde Chestnut Barrow.
Okay.
Crazy middle name, by the way.
Because he's not a horse.
Yeah. And also, who eats chestnuts?
Clyde Chestnut Barrow is the name of a horse. Like, that has to be, like, not even intentionally the name of a horse somewhere in America.
They're like, shit, he's named after a person?
Right. It was Chestnut, and then they found out it was a boy horse, so now it's just Clyde Chestnut Barrow.
I kind of like Clyde as a horse name. Yeah. That's perfect.
Born to be a butler in Downton Abbey, forced to do Grand Theft Auto.
Yes. I spend a lot of time in today's episode going over kind of each of their origin stories, because I think that's way more fascinating than all the crimes, because the crimes kind of get rinse and repeat. So we're going to talk a lot about their beginnings, and then probably honestly not go as in depth in some of the crimes as maybe some other podcasts have. But there's obviously tons of sources out there. Obviously every single story is fucking different, because now this is a folklore legend, and like even sources that like claim that they researched it have different things happened, you know? And so if I'm not going to tell your favorite Bonnie and Clyde story, no, it's not intentional. And if I tell it slightly differently, sorry, I don't know what else to say. So let's get into it. Clyde was born in Tellico, Texas on March 24th, 1909. Makes him an Aries. That fits. to Henry and Cumi Barrow. His family was incredibly poor, but also very close-knit, and they were a cotton sharecropping family. Clyde was the 5th or 6th out of 7 children, and he was described as a mama's boy. By the way, when I say they were poor, I mean like living meal to meal poor.
Yeah.
And so naturally, one of his older brothers, whose name is Ivan, but he goes by Buck, gets into stealing to make more money. They all had weird nicknames based on, like, I think Clyde's was Bud just because he was so friendly. And
I have an uncle whose name is George who also goes by Buck. So Buck is just a nickname
Buck's
for
just
anybody.
Not a name. Yeah. So Buck starts getting into.
Oh, Butch. His name's Butch. Well, maybe it is Buck. We don't really talk to him.
You don't say.
Butch, it's Butch.
I told you about my uncle that I thought was 2 separate people for a really long time. I was living out with my aunt and uncle, and I knew I had like Uncle Pete, Uncle John, Uncle Whit, Uncle Chris, like Aunt Lori, all these people, and I had met everyone except for Chris. And I called my parents, and I was like, "Where the hell is Chris?" And they were like, "That's Whit." And I was like, "Bitch, what?" Apparently Whit is short for whistle because he used to whistle as a kid, which is crazy.
Should have gone with Buck.
Yeah. So Buck is stealing roosters in an effort to try and get into cockfighting to make money that way, which is bananas to me. Obviously, everyone's very young at this point.
You gotta commit the crime to commit the crime. Yeah, exactly. Got to spend money to make money. Got to commit the crime to commit the crime.
And also, I think at this point, he is committing to training fighting roosters, fighting cocks. Like, you're not stealing an already fighting cock.
You're not.
You're stealing just a random ass rooster
and then traumatizing it.
To make it angry at you.
And obviously, like, that is animal cruelty and that is bad, but also what a crazy turn of events.
What a nuts thing to be like, this will make me money. So Clyde grew up thinking his older brother Buck was so cool, and he also grew up idolizing a lot of the famous outlaws like Jesse James, etc. Also interesting around this time, which I didn't know, it's widely believed that being poor was a sign of godliness. Being rich was a sign of like being sinful. And one of the podcasts I listened to last podcast on the left, they were saying that it felt like a way for the upper class to continue to control the lower class.
Well, only because it is.
Yeah, exactly. So
I have about an hour and a half I could speak on this issue, so let's go ahead and keep it pushing.
When World War I ended, the family began struggling even more than they were already struggling because during the war, the farms in Europe obviously weren't producing, which made the crops that American farmers were producing more valuable. So when World War I ended and those farms kind of came back online, the value of their cotton that they were producing was not as much. And so that, in combination then with a drought that happened in like 1920, 1921, forced the family to move to West Dallas, to like give up the farm and move to West Dallas. At this point, Clyde is 12. West Dallas was considered very low income. It's referred to at the time as a slum, and it's also colloquially known as the bog or the devil's back porch. There are lots of rural farmers that end up making a very similar move around this time, moving to a more city center to try and find other means of making money. At this point, the Barrow family lives on a campground, and they literally have not even a tent, not a house. They sleep under their wagon for a while. Their primary food source was whenever the Salvation Army brought stuff. And the father, Henry Barrow, was a junk man. Do you know what a junk man is?
I do not.
He collects junk and sells it.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah. Middleman for trash.
Yes.
A lot like my sister.
Well, that coral is actually really valuable. So Henry would take his mule and go around to the wealthier parts of the city collecting junk and then coming back and selling it. And some of it he would keep. And eventually he kept enough of it that he was able to build like a little shack for his family. Cool. Yeah. As a kid, Clyde had ambitions to become a musician. He learned how to play the guitar and saxophone and reportedly was like pretty good at it. So that does mean there is an alternate universe where he becomes a famous saxophonist. He would like window shop all the fancy instruments and suits he wanted to buy. At 16, Clyde quit school, which was not necessarily uncommon for kids at the time and likely would not have changed where this story is headed. But he was slender in stature and standing at like 5'6", just barely 5'7" on a good day. At some point, he tries to enlist in the Navy and is rejected.
For why?
One source said that it was because he had something that they called colloquially as the shivers that he had developed from his father, which could have been something like epilepsy. Another source said it was maybe as a result of a childhood illness, maybe malaria or yellow fever. Regardless, he was so sure that he was going to get into the U.S. Navy that he tattooed on his left arm USN.
Kind of feels very much like a thing you do with your shipmates on the first day.
Yeah, or on the last day.
How do you show up, like showing up to the Navy with the tattoo already? They say
I've been eager.
Dress for the part you want, not for the part you have.
That's something Clyde will live by.
Sorry, I think it's dress for the job you want, not for the job you have. Because when I was using parts, and I was like, and no small parts, you know.
But I understood the part one just the same.
100%.
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't sound right, but I get it. When he dated his first girlfriend, whose name I think was like Elizabeth B. Wilson or something like that, he then got her initials EBW tattooed also on his left arm. And dear listener, this is not the story of Elizabeth and Clyde. This is the story of Bonnie and Clyde.
This is a story of Clyde and his girlfriend that was pretty cool about some of the tattoos.
Oh, it gets worse because then he had a tattoo for his girlfriend Anne. I think just the name Anne, also tattooed on his left arm. And then on his right arm, a girl's face with the name Grace on it.
At what point do you stop when you're significantly far behind?
Well, he didn't get Bonnie's name tattooed anywhere on him.
When that's how you knew it was going to be forever.
Yeah. Honestly, though.
It's when you break the cycle of trauma. That's when the
when
healing
it
begins.
Sticks. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So at this point, Clyde is also starting to engage in small-time crime because his brother has done that. And so
Small-time crime.
Small-time crime. Now,
You're
wait
welcome.
a minute. So Ivan M. Barrow, which is Buck's full name, is the influence under which Clyde started doing this. But he began a life of petty thievery and then later car theft. He was first arrested in 1926 at 17 years old after, what do you think?
1926, 17 years old, hustling people at a game of pool.
Failed to return a rental car.
What? They had rental cars back then?
Dude.
120 years, and they're like, why would you come here for a car where a rental car come with me? And they're like, I booked your passenger pigeon service like months ago. And they're like,
Hertz
sir,
is like, we don't have all the cars here.
they're like, until the car gets returned, we can't then rent it out to you again.
They're
and
still
it's
wearing a
literally
red polo.
Clyde. Yes, exactly. They're like, you know what? Be back soon. And they just like go to the back room. They're on break again.
They bring out a wagon and horse and they're like, will this do?
Exactly.
So he gets picked up for that. It's his first infraction. He's young. The police are like, we don't have fucking time for this. Like, they gave him a warning and we're like, hopefully that warning sticks. Dear listener, you know where this goes. It doesn't stick.
They should have tattooed warning onto him.
I don't think it would have worked. Also, as of note, which I'll mention a couple times again, that a lot of prisons, especially in Texas, were already really overcrowded. Another point, he's picked up for stealing like his neighbor's chicken or something like that. And the one of the sources was like, Texas did not have room in prisons to be jailing every kid who stole a chicken.
Oh, okay.
Just like,
well,
people just be stealing fucking chickens.
America before the prison industrial complex.
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
Then, in late 1926, just before Thanksgiving, the cops pull over a vehicle that have Buck and Clyde in it. And they've pulled them over because they're suspicious that they have stolen
Weed?
turkeys.
I'm liking this guessing. I don't think I'm going to get better at it.
No,
but
I don't
it's
think you
really
are either.
fun
I
for
put
me.
a lot of them in here.
Turkeys.
They were trying to steal either, depending on the source, a truckload or a carload of turkeys.
I know they just mean like big truck, small truck, but I like to imagine that it was like a family of 5 turkeys that they like held up and they were like, get out of the car! Get out of that car and get in this car! We have a rental deadline to make.
We can't afford for Hertz to find out about us.
I can't afford a second warning on the rental car thing. It's going to mess up my insurance. We live in a prison.
Yeah, we really do. Also, last podcast on the left pointed out that I don't remember who said this, but they were like, you could not pick a louder crime. Like, imagine they roll down the window and you just hear the
like so hard to keep it under wraps. Like
so difficult.
They are not chill birds.
No, famously, you've seen that episode of Bob's Burgers.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, they steal a bunch of fucking turkeys. And they were going to fence them ahead of Thanksgiving to try and make extra money for Christmas shopping. Why does Buck keep stealing birds to try and make extra money?
It's also like, I don't mean to be super cynical, but it's like, we were just trying to get Christmas gift money. Sure.
Whatever you say. And this isn't prohibition. So... being the good older brother that Buck was, he took the fall for the crime.
Wow.
So that Clyde would not face the consequences. And Buck did spend some time in jail. I'm not sure how long. It wasn't super long. But here's the thing with our very long time broken policing and prison system, that you'll now pick up that Clyde has been picked up by the police at least twice. And now, if there is a crime that the police are like, we are not quite sure who did this, but you know who it could be? Could be that Clyde Barrow kid.
Right.
He has also stolen things sometimes and not returned rental cars. And let's just go see where he's at, you know? Notably at this time, Clyde did have a job. He was working at a factory in town. And so the police, whenever anything like this happened, they went to go pick him up and would detain him under suspicion. Taking him away from the job he was supposed to be working.
Interesting.
So it was really hard for Clyde to keep a job. And obviously, like, Clyde never was charged with any of the shit because it wasn't shit that he was doing.
Sure.
And so he was like, you know what? If you think I'm a fucking criminal, I'm going to be a fucking criminal because I can't keep a fucking job because of you assholes.
In the 1970s, my dad was in high school and doing a naughty shit in a town of 400 people.
Oh, no.
And he learned pretty early on just to leave the light of his room on before he left. And one day he got called into the principal's office and the principal goes, Greg, my dad's name's Greg. Greg, I know it wasn't you because when I was driving down the neighborhood, I saw your lights were on last night, but I know you know who did it. My dad did know who did it.
It was him.
He did it.
Yeah.
Not alone. Dad did it for the shiggles as much as anything else.
Yeah.
But glad you got to keep your lights on.
Noted. Noted.
Now we have flock cameras, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. We can see everything.
There was a time when you could live unmonitored.
That's nice.
We live in a prison.
Yeah, we do. So Clyde was unable to keep a job. Granted, even at his job, he was making like nothing.
Right.
Like the most he made was 30 cents an hour. And he was working like 60-hour weeks. Oof. Like there was no union allowed, obviously. And yeah, so he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to be a fucking criminal. And so he starts fencing more stuff. He's I think, steals some more chickens probably, and then starts stealing more cars. It becomes a lot easier to steal cars because they had just come out with like the electric start system, so you didn't need the crank anymore. And he learned how to hot wire cars, and also just like became really good at fixing up cars and dealing with all. And he was also like maybe invented the idea of drifting in cars. I don't know. He was like a crazy getaway driver. Anyway, here is one of his earliest headshots. This is from 1928 in Fort Worth.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He's uglier than I thought he was going to be.
He looks cuter when he gets older. He's very baby-faced
I think
there.
that's it, partially. It's like a child trying to be tough.
And some of his older...
How old is he in this?
He would have been 1928, 18.
He really does have a baby face, though.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah.
And you also have to remember this is like the Great Depression. He's like not or it's about to be the Great Depression. He's...
Sorry, I'm also laughing because like he 100% has a black eye, and it's like, is that what happened when you got picked up? And then like I legitimately think maybe dirt on both of his cheeks.
It's both. Oh, I thought you said chin, and I was like, what do you mean both of them?
Regardless of what cheek I'm talking about, there's two of them.
No, you're right. That's me. That's on me. So he started stealing cars, and then he would drive to like neighboring cities to sell them. And that's how he gets in that situation we opened with, where he was arrested for stealing cars in multiple cities because he had like sold them in Denton and Waco and Dallas, maybe Fort Worth, whatever. In 1929, the Great Depression hit. And for someone with nothing, can't really get any lower than that.
Sure.
You know? But of note, if it makes you feel any better about what's going to happen in the rest of the story, Clyde's family actually gets a stroke of luck a couple months before Black Tuesday. Henry Barrow, their father, actually gets kind of lucky. What do you think happened?
He could file an insurance claim on the wagon.
Insurance claim is actually pretty close.
Really? I'm like, what's the most ridiculous thing that I could think of?
His mule gets killed by a car that has lost control.
As long as there has been insurance, there has been insurance fraud. Imagining Mr. Chestnut Barrow pushing his donkey in front of an oncoming car. In a two birds, one vehicular manslaughter accident kind of situation where you are both disposed of an elderly donkey and get a giant financial windfall.
And
the insurance company will tow away that dead donkey for you.
Well, the guy wanted it to be under the table, so he just paid him in 1929 money, right before the Great Depression, $600.
What? That's like a kid who sold a cow for magic beans. Yes! The levels of bad ratio.
I didn't want to do the math on the conversion,
Did
but
Clyde's
that's crazy.
Father rob someone and in the process lose a donkey and just had to fashion a story out of it?
Who knows?
What do you mean?
$600 for a mule is nuts.
If I was standing on the side of the street and someone rolled over my foot with a 2026 car today and was like $600 and we can just walk away from this, I'm still saying yes.
I could buy an actual mule today for probably $600. I mean, it would have to be like a not well-trained mule, but I could do it.
Kind of weird to hear the word mule actually used practically on this podcast, but I love it. That's crazy.
Mules are going to come back, don't worry.
Way to go. Way to go, Chestnut.
So anyway, he uses the $600 and buys himself a car. And with the car, you know what just helped his business? Now he can use the whole car to haul junk and sell it. And so he actually, his business flourishes.
Ever since my donkey died, I can haul way more trash. I'm the trash man. Today, that company is known as Waste Management.
Shit. I'm not going to really talk about his family anymore, but aside from Buck, but Henry, a few years later, will end up actually using the money he has made to open up a like filling station, like a gas station. And so I think the family, I mean, they're still struggling, but they're fine. And so anyway, back to Clyde.
But crime is now increasingly becoming a choice for Clyde.
Yeah. At some point, Clyde and some friends, along with Buck, are out robbing places. I don't remember the whole scheme. Eventually, they're like robbing a bunch of stuff, and then they go to this one place and they want to rob the safe, and they can't crack the safe, so they just take the whole safe.
When men were allowed to be men.
God, I miss the good old days.
An actual period of American history, yes. Actual Americans today actually crave. And then run for U.S. Senate and
Mitch.
win.
Who may or may not be alive. We're not sure. Anyway, they are escaping the cops with a literal actual safe in the back of their car. At some point, they end up ditching the car because they're convinced they can outrun the police. Clyde and his friends all make it out. Buck gets wounded in the shootout. Both of his legs get shot. And he ends up apprehended and sentenced to 4 years, so he goes to jail.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. this is not the first or last time he will go to jail in this story. I don't actually know the next time, but I do know when he comes out of jail. Also of note, I'm going to mention her again. So shortly before this encounter where Buck gets sent to jail, he met a woman named Blanche who he falls in love with, and she's going to come back into the picture later. And then in 1930, in January, Clyde goes to a friend's house for a party. The story goes he opened the door, and who is across the way but Bonnie Parker.
I was going to say a turkey. Or a mule.
Bonnie Parker. And they instantly fall in love, or at least they're like definitely making eyes at each other over their hot cocoa, which I'm like, okay, that was moonshine. I don't know who lied to you.
Way.
There's one book that I read for this story, and it felt like it was like maybe the kids' version of the actual story. Like there were some details that were just softened, and I was like, it wasn't fucking hot cocoa. I don't know who fucking lied to you.
Ever since the Boudica episode 2, I'm like, who does this serve to make this hot cocoa?
Exactly.
What historical narrative has benefited from dampening this down a little bit?
Correct. So let's talk about Bonnie Parker, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Born in Rowena, Texas on October 1st, 1910 to Henry and Emma Parker. She is, if you had to guess where she falls in the birth order.
Ooh, is she 9 of 12?
Well, there's only 3, so.
Oh, have you said that already?
No. Okay. You were already opening your mouth and I didn't want to interrupt you.
Middle child.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she has an older brother named Herbert and a younger sister named Billy. You don't have to remember any of these names.
A younger sister named Billy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Billy for a girl.
I do too, but just feels very new age for 1920.
Yeah, that's true. Henry Parker, her father, was a bricklayer, and he passed away when Bonnie was pretty young in 1914, so when she was about 4. Following Henry's passing, Emma, now a single mother, takes the 3 kids and moves to Cement City, which is kind of near West Dallas.
Also, like an off-Broadway musical production, surely.
Yes. I think you're thinking of Urinetown, but absolutely.
I am also thinking of Stanton. What? The Electric City.
What? Yes. Stanton. What?
The Electric
Scranton.
City. Okay, whatever.
Can't believe he got me like that. Anyway, they moved to
Concrete
Cement City.
Cement City.
That's Cement City.
So sorry.
So that they could be closer to Emma's family, and also so that Emma could get a job. I think she ends up getting a job as a seamstress or something.
In Cement City.
Yes.
Do you think they have gravel roads? The engineer in you loves that so much. It's so silly.
I'm so glad I'm not a civil engineer, because those bitches fucking love cement.
And hate the environment.
Yeah. Well.
Only because I love cement, you know.
Yeah, you know. The Cement City is seen as like one step up from where Clyde's family was in West Dallas. So they kind of look down on Cement City, even though Cement City's still like really fucking poor.
Right.
Like the people that are rich probably don't really know the difference between the two. You know, like that's how similar they are. Emma also raised her kids to believe that they were better than everyone else for no clear reason. So as you can imagine, Bonnie grows up to be very precocious. And it didn't help, I guess, that she was, I mean, it helped her, but it didn't help that she was so damn cute. She got away with everything.
Sure.
She had a filthy mouth that she developed from her uncle. Yeah. That she would just like be cursing all the time, and people wanted to like reprimand her for doing that, but she was so damn cute that they let her get away with it. And I was like, literally, what the fuck?
You can find videos of that today on TikTok.
Yeah, that's true. That is really true. Then in 1914, she shocked her entire church by singing a comedy song by Bill Murray called "He's a Devil in His Own Hometown." Imagine a 4 or 5-year-old girl stands up in the middle of church and starts singing, "He's a devil. He's a devil in his own hometown." I don't remember how the tune goes, but that's crazy.
How old is Bill Murray? It's a different Bill Murray.
Yeah, it's Billy Murray. She also, as a young girl, liked setting fires.
Well.
End of sentence.
Imagine just how beautiful that building would be on fire, Maya.
She liked the pretty colors.
Yeah, she does. This will teach Vail Resorts and Spa.
They didn't learn. In school, Bonnie was an honor student. I think she like won the spelling bee or something one year. She really enjoyed writing poetry and reading romance novels. She wore a lot of colorful clothing. She had strawberry blonde hair and wore a lot of like colorful hats. She also loved the picture shows, specifically the action-packed ones, like I mentioned earlier. She valued appearances and was very rarely seen not in clean clothes or with her hair or makeup not done. And she was 4'10", about like 85 pounds. Like she's a hui thing. And she's in high school. She's like 15, almost going to be 16. On September 25th, 1926, Bonnie Parker marries Roy Thornton, her high school sweetheart that she had met in grade 10, aka the same year she got married. Roy is 18.
These are a sign of people who make good decisions.
And don't worry, remember how Clyde got all those tattoos about his past girlfriends?
100%.
Yeah, she also got Roy and Bonnie and two hearts tattooed on her inner right thigh. I think like by her knee-ish area, maybe? I don't know.
That's kind of scandalous even by today's standards.
Yeah, it is.
So she's there at a party, ready to cheat on her husband, and she sees a man who she knows been running from the law, and she's like, better show a little bit of inner thigh, but not the one that has my husband's initial on it. My good side is the side you can't see my husband's name on it.
It's like hiding the wedding ring behind your hand.
He has long sleeve shirts for literally the exact same reason.
Both of them are scared to get naked for the first time.
Legitimately am seeing this film come together right now.
Well,
someone should make a movie about this and find a way to cast Kathy Bates.
I don't know how, but somehow. Their marriage is described as tumultuous. Obviously, she's 16 and he's 18. But Bonnie refused to get a divorce. And things started getting worse. Like, it's the same year, that like still 1926. But Roy would disappear for days at a time and refuse to tell Bonnie where he had been. And at some point, Bonnie hears a rumor that he was shacking up with another gal. Right. And so December of 1927, which is like about a year later, the pair separated due to Roy's alleged infidelity.
Well, that's the thing about philandering. You never know where you're going to go, but you know how you're going to get there.
What?
Just think about it for a second.
Okay.
It's literally a perfect analogy.
Separated. They are going to remain separated for the rest of their lives, but never officially or legally divorce.
Nice.
Which is crazy because everything you know about Bonnie and Clyde happened while Bonnie was legally married to another man. She also wore her wedding ring to Roy until the day she died. I know! What? The tattoo I get. Tattoo removal didn't happen until recently.
Women too can have a little bit of complexity as a treat.
Well, so she at this point is working at a cafe as a waitress. Unfortunately, that cafe would close in 1929 because of the Great Depression. But around that same time, Roy is sent to prison for a 5-year sentence. So by the time she meets Clyde, not only has she like been separated from him for a couple of years, but he's also like literally not in the picture. Like he's not, you're not going to see him walking down the street. Like he's in prison. And I don't remember what he went to prison for. One source said it was murder. I feel like that was a lie. I feel like it was something else, but I'm probably wrong, honestly.
So Bonnie stays married to her prison husband.
Prison husband, yep.
Interesting.
Forever. Something of note, there are rumors, I guess, that Bonnie may have been moonlighting as a sex worker around this time, like in these last few years, but it's not confirmed. There's a lot of rumors that come out about both Bonnie and Clyde. This was one that I wasn't able to fully like track down. There's also rumors that she was infertile, which made it easy for her to say yes to becoming a sex worker, but that's not medically confirmed officially. The reason people think that is because she was always dressing like well above her station. But I mean, there are other explanations for that, right?
Yeah, she grew up in Cement City.
Yeah, it's not hard to dress better than rags. It could have been that she just charmed the pants off of some rich guy at the restaurant she worked at and they gifted it to her or whatever. There's the other reason people have is that she wrote something later in life. I don't know if it was like some poetry or a book or whatever, but what she wrote in that piece of literature made people think that she knew more about the sex work industry than the average person. So there's that. So now we're going to go to the section that I actually used as the intro, where in 1930 they met and then were inseparable. And then, you know, the whole thing, Clyde gets picked up while he's meeting Bonnie's mom for the very first time. And then Bonnie helps him, smuggles a gun to him, helps him escape from jail. She doesn't actually know that he's escaped until she sees it in the paper, and then she makes her way back home.
Because Clyde's on his way to Ohio.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I said Clyde then, without Bonnie, fled to Ohio, parentheses, paused to let Grant hate on Ohio.
Well.
Yeah, okay.
I stand by it.
Aileen, I love you.
And to those who hail from Ohio and support the Ohio State University, you're going to dog walk Nebraska in November. Like, I just know that's going to happen. And you're still not part of the Midwest. Their university is called the Ohio State University, and they're also the only Ohio State University. Imagine getting confused in a crowd of one.
I'm now out of my depth. I don't know what to say to this.
College football starts really soon. I'm really excited
I did have
for
a listener message and told me that the term Midwest was actually around before Nebraska was a state.
Okay, great.
Just wanted to throw that out there. Anyway, Clyde makes his way to Ohio. And what with his accomplice/accomplices, there was like a third guy that tagged on
not
randomly.
His brother, who is going to stay in jail.
I think they were in different jails, but yeah. He then chooses to go on a crime spree because why not? He robs multiple banks and other establishments, and then during one such heist, a bystander was able to get a good description of the license plate of the, parentheses, stolen car that Clyde was driving. Police are then able to catch up with him, which caused Clyde to abandon the car and make a run for it on foot, and that's worked for him so well in the past. So, yeah, he gets caught in Middletown and sentenced to 14 years in prison.
14?
I think they had a rap sheet on him.
Sure, but like,
and one of them was escaping jail.
Right.
Yeah.
He actually has an unfinished sentence to get back to.
Yeah. So he is jailed initially at Texas's Huntsville State Prison and then would later be transferred to Eastham Prison Farm. This next section is not going to be as fun as the other ones.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sorry for that. I'm going to provide just an overarching trigger warning for there's going to be some violence, some abuse, some sexual violence mentioned. And if you don't want to hear any of that, go ahead and skip to the next section. I think it's like actually really foundational into understanding why Clyde became who he became after this. But I think you'll get the gist if you don't want to hear it, and that's totally understandable. So go ahead and do that now if you would like to skip it. We're going to start, obviously, it's lighthearted for a second. But when he got to jail, guess what he immediately started doing? Lying.
Okay.
You're correct. Lying. Despite being 21, he told everyone that he was 18. And obviously record keeping's like not great, so they have really no way to verify anything. And he said he was younger in hopes that his young age would garner sympathy and maybe perhaps better treatment. The Texas prison system is not necessarily the nicest. And these prisons that he's being sent to are really not the nicest. So he's trying to do anything he can. This lie that he tells that he's actually 3 years younger than he actually is supported wholeheartedly by Clyde's mother, which I'm obsessed with. They're like, and how is your son 18? She's like, yep, absolutely.
If that's what he thinks he is, I've lost track.
I've lost track. There's like 7 of them. I think she obviously knew that Clyde was lying, but who knows? She would also tell anyone who would listen that he was just a good boy that fell in with the wrong crowd. Another lie.
Meanwhile, all the neighbors whose chickens and birds are stolen were like, no, he's not.
We've been watching this kid grow up.
Your children are criminals.
Yep, every single one of them. And don't look at our kids. That's fine. It's just water. It'll evaporate. Everything's fine.
Is there a lot of cords back there?
No.
Oh, good. Okay, cool.
Okay. Another lie that Clyde told was that Bonnie Parker was his wife. Which was to give her extra rights to be able to visit him.
Sure.
I mean, that feels like another harmless lie, but obviously record keeping is like, they can't just like look that up in the system. Clyde's mother also was working behind the scenes on a pardon for her son, because the prisons are all so overcrowded at this point that the governor would pretty regularly accept requests from mothers who were asking for pardons, saying like, I just want to see my son. And so she was trying to like write letters to him. But in the meantime, Clyde's in prison. In general, prisons in Texas at the time were not meant to rehabilitate criminals. They were meant to be the most uncomfortable and unpleasant experience that any of these criminals have ever experienced, to the point that they go out back into the real world and say, that sucked so much, don't do anything to get back into the prison, which obviously worked because the prison stayed overcrowded. Clearly. At Huntsville, for example, there was one punishment that was favored by some of the upper-level management called the bat, where prisoners would be whipped with a greased leather strap that had like a wooden handle, and they would be held down on the ground, spread eagle, by fellow prisoners while the guards whipped them, until they often passed out. They often were defecating themselves or urinating themselves along the way. So that's just an example of what's happening at Huntsville. Huntsville has like two parts that were described. One's like called the walls, and that's the kind of like petty theft section of the prison.
Okay.
The more intense section of the prison was called Eastham Prison Cotton Farm, which is much rougher than Huntsville. And Huntsville's already considered a rough place. So this place is awful. The man in charge of Eastham had actually been fired from Huntsville already for unnecessary cruelty.
At a place that condones like the beating of prisoners.
Yes. And so when the person who was currently in charge of Huntsville got put in charge, he actually rehired this guy and put him in charge of Eastham and said, do whatever the fuck you want. The prison became so violent and awful that it was called the Bloody Ham, which we'll talk about why later, and also Little Alcatraz. Eastham was reserved largely for serious criminals like murderers, rapists, whatever, or repeat offenders. And it's still not known why Clyde was sent there.
Okay.
Because he was not notorious at this point. Like, he had committed what would really be considered petty theft at this time. Or, he did a jailbreak, but it's still not like, it's overcrowded. Why are you sending this kid, this like 5'6", like 100-something pound kid into this like jail full of hardened criminals, you know? At Eastham, it's a farm, so they were made to work 10-hour days, 7 days a week, with 1 half-an-hour break on Saturdays for a bath. Ugh. I'm not sure if this part also happened at Huntsville or just at Eastham, but apparently the bat that I described just a second ago, at Eastham, if the guards were feeling particularly cruel, would pour sand into the open wounds afterwards. Ugh. And the guards would then sometimes make the other prisoners inspect the bat after the beating and sometimes lick it.
Ugh.
Another punishment they would do is called riding the barrel, where inmates were forced to straddle like the top of a pickle barrel such that their like toes were balancing them while they were handcuffed, and they would be left there for like days at a time. Yes. The kinds of prisoners kept at Eastham varied widely. The book that I read on this said, quote, the harshest punishment wasn't so much the prison bars, the bad prison food, or the lack of general freedom. The greatest form of punishment that the prison system could bestow was simply by way of cooping up inmates with some of the most deranged prisoners the nation had in store. And this was reinforced when Clyde witnessed a gruesome murder in the first weeks at the farm. It was an older inmate who had killed a young man who just arrived. And remember, Clyde's this tiny little country boy.
Right.
He's not winning a fight, you know? And there's one inmate, a man called Big Ed Crowder, who targeted Clyde. Ed was like 6 feet tall, 200 pounds of like muscle, who'd been serving for however long and working on this farm. He's like built, and he's serving life, so he has nothing to lose. He is also what they would call a building tender. A building tender is like the Stanford prison experiment inside the Stanford prison experiment. It's the guards giving a modicum of power to who they think are the most powerful prisoners that are going to be capable of keeping everyone else in line. In exchange for their services for keeping everyone else in line, they're given like extra food, more breaks, like increased comforts, basically. And also, the guards frequently just didn't give a shit what these people did, as long as the prisoners didn't act up. And I'm sorry for this. Soon after Clyde arrived, Ed began raping him almost every night in full view of the other inmates for a year. Yeah. Clyde would later get his revenge. Eventually, he teamed up with another person who had a life sentence, who was also a building tender, who also hated Ed Crowder. His name was Aubrey Scaly. On October 19th, 1931, Clyde walked into the bathroom of their like little dormitory alone, knowing full well that Ed would follow him in there to abuse him. When Ed showed up, Clyde hit him over the head with a pipe he had snuck in from the farm. The blow was so intense that it crushed Ed's skull and killed him almost immediately.
Oh my God.
Scaly was waiting in the shadows and had like a shiv, I think, and quickly stabbed Ed a bunch of times and then like sliced something open on himself because he, as previously agreed upon with Clyde, was going to take the blame for killing Ed Crowder because he was serving life and had literally nothing to lose.
Right. But he could eliminate Ed.
Mm-hmm. Which he hated. And if it wasn't for this inmate, Clyde would have also been sentenced to life, like after killing another prisoner.
Wow.
Many sources claim that this was a foundational experience for Clyde in forming his hatred of police and authorities, and he would vow later on to never, ever get sent back
to jail.
Because, I mean, yeah. One of his fellow inmates would say that he watched Clyde transition from a young schoolboy to a rattlesnake because of this experience. So this next part is also not pleasant, but it's not sexual abuse. So the other nickname for this prison was Bloody Ham. And that's because the labor that the prisoners would have to do in the Texas heat was so miserable and backbreaking and awful that many of them would cut off their own appendages to escape work. Because if you became unable to work, they can't use you. And you're more likely to get sent back to the walls.
Oh my God.
Which is, like, it's awful, but at least there you might be able to learn a trade, you know, or something. And so I think one prisoner said that was friends with Clyde said in one particularly bad week, they witnessed 14 self-mutilations of people trying to get out of here. After a year of doing the backbreaking labor, Clyde had decided he'd had enough. And on January 27th of 1932, he, either himself or someone else for him, cut off the entire left big toe and part of the toe next to it.
Clyde cut his own toes off?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that's the end of like the violence that's going to happen in the prison. There's just a few more points before we go to the next section. I got really, really pissed off reading this particular part of Clyde's story about him cutting his toes off because there's so many sources that depicted it that A, completely brushed off the sexual abuse that he had experienced or like didn't mention it, and then described him cutting off his toes as just a way for him to get out of work. He's so lazy. He doesn't want to do anything. He has such a weak work ethic.
You know, like that's a huge sacrifice to make.
And also he'd been doing the work for a year. He wasn't trying to get out of something he was about to have to do. Sure. He'd been fucking doing it. And he said, I'm done.
Right.
You know? Unfortunately.
Wasn't enough.
No, he got a pardon like 6 days later because of the work his mom was doing. Like the governor pardoned him.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
I know. And
because the toes had
gone.
Nothing to do with it.
Probably not. Yeah. A week-ish after he had cut his toes off, February of 1932, the petition his mother had made, which was effectively an apology letter written on behalf of Clyde, led to his early parole. And he was released on crutches with a limp he would have for the rest of his life. And he would never be able to wear shoes while driving, which I don't know what that has to do with anything, but that's crazy.
Maybe they would like slide too much. Ugh, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's left foot. But anyway, that's the worst we're going to get tonight. But I just thought it was...
It's tough though.
It's not fucking easy.
No.
You know, like you like Clyde's not a good guy in the end.
Right.
But also like, yeah, if I experienced something that traumatic, I would be willing to do a lot
to avoid
never go back, you know? And also his like childhood, he'd been effectively told by the cops, like, a life of crime is all you have.
Right.
You know? And so like, well, what else are you going to do? So now Clyde's going to go straight and narrow, obviously. So let's get to the next section. After release, Clyde hobbled up to Bonnie's mother's house, which is where Bonnie was living at the time, and reintroduced himself into Bonnie's life. Obviously, no one except for Bonnie was happy about this. But there wasn't much anyone could do.
Not with us middle children. We're going to do what we want.
Yeah. Yeah. Bonnie and Clyde were once again inseparable. And so to appease both his own family and Bonnie's family, Clyde was like, I'll try and make money the regular way, you know? So one of his sisters, whose name was Nell, got him a job on a construction site. And some other sources had like a glass factory or something. But he lasted 2 weeks before he quit. I'm not sure why, but he was like, this isn't for me. And so he knew a group of criminals in Houston with whom he wished to do crime with.
Oh, okay.
So
dear gentlemanly sir.
Yeah. Would you like to potentially raid this bank? He picked up Bonnie and thus began their adventure.
I could also see it coming from what had been like a whirlwind like year.
Yeah.
And like especially having spent so much of your like last year in that prison, your sense is so heightened for survival that the
like,
letdown is insane.
I can't just sit at a factory for 10 hours a day.
Again, not in itself a justification, but if we're looking less for the end justification and more for like
what's
the ingredients that might drive a person to that, like those ingredients exist.
And now that we're in some of the lighter stuff, you want to go get a drink?
Yeah. I was wondering if we were getting close to our refill break.
It was just so dark, I didn't want to stop right there.
Yeah. We're back.
Okay. Nell got him a job on a construction site. He lasts 2 weeks. And he picks up Bonnie and heads to his friends in Houston. That are...
And does Bonnie know that it's a group of gentlemen to do crime with?
Most likely. Yeah.
Great. Okay, amazing.
Yeah. So the thing about Bonnie is that she, I think, craved a man that was confident, and Clyde craved control. So you're gonna see a lot of instances where Clyde's like, you stay here, and Bonnie's like, yes, absolutely.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, I like a dom, you know, like not upset by it.
I am gonna say a lot about myself right now, but we're in the middle part of the episode where only the true listeners are. Have you seen or seen advertisements for the movie Peon? It stars Alexander Skarsgård and
already I'm in.
Dudley from Harry Potter, but like grown up now.
Yeah.
And Dudley plays a gay man who realizes that there's a certain dynamic in his romantic relationships that he really enjoys. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a line in there where they go meet little Dudley's family. I don't know what his actual name is in the movie. Will be Dudley forever.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And they're, engaged in their relationship. And Dudley's mom goes, I'm not entirely sure I appreciate or like the way you're talking to my son. And he goes, that's okay. It's not meant for you. It's not meant for you to enjoy. Later on, so my partner and I watched it because my brother was like, you got to watch it. And I was like, well, it's on our list. And he's like, you got to watch it. And so I called my brother and I was like.
Your brother has the craziest, watches the craziest shit.
He goes, Taylor puts it on, doesn't even tell me what it is we're going to watch. She goes, we're just going to watch this. And, I watch early on and, I watched every second of Heated Rival with her 8 times. So like, I think I'm ready to go. And Jesus, Grant. And I go, we kind of thought it was moved a little slow. Like, I think if you aren't shocked by what you're seeing,
it's not as
correct.
plot.
If you're not aware that exists, then it's probably gripping. But if you are already aware of what it is, it kind of lacks some peaks.
That's how I felt about the movie with Nicole Kidman that we watched.
You're gonna have to be more specific.
It was you, me, Lydia. Who else? I have no idea. But it's Nicole Kidman, and she is like a powerful CEO type, and they hire like this intern who is a dom.
Oh, yeah. And he orders like a milk for her.
That's like the big thing. I was like, yes, and.
What was that called? Yeah.
I don't know. That's why. That's the biggest thing.
I hear you.
I was like, okay. Okay.
Really glad we had a chance to break down their romantic relationship.
This group is going to be called like widely as the Barrow Gang, and it's going to kind of change members over the course. Yeah, they come snapping out of the shadows. Yeah, see, yeah. We're going to steal your car, yeah.
Like they do actual crime, but like it's just,
Yeah. Yeah. So April 19th, 1932, they robbed a hardware store in Kaufman, Texas, which is about a 40-minute drive from southeast Dallas. Their goal is to steal some guns from this hardware store.
Nice.
And it was going to be in the early morning hours, and Bonnie was not actually going to be a part of the crime. She is going to be the lookout. She's going to sit in the car outside and like alert them if anyone's on their way.
It's so important to support your partner's hobbies. I've learned that recently.
Later on, she supports his hobbies by staying back at the house. So, however, she's not the only person on lookout because there's a security guard.
Oh, no.
That saw what was happening and triggered the alarm. And so the group piles back into the car and speeds off, and the police are like hot on their heels. And Clyde's like, this car's never gonna like outrun the police car. And so they pull off and then start running on foot through some fields that the police can't drive through. A
strategy that has historically been really successful.
It's been really successful for him. Yeah, exactly. Like I think it's happened 3 times so far, and all 3 times it has not gone well. They then spot some mules in like a field nearby, and they're like, great. So they all hop on the backs of these mules and try.
I have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice,
right? And they're like, "Come on, mules, let's escape on muleback." And
yeah.
Grant, what do you know about mules?
They are famously independent thinkers
and stubborn as a mule. And so the animals were like, "Bitch, I'm not being a fucking accomplice to this theft. Are you kidding me?"
They'll shoot. It's Texas.
Yeah, and they were like, "I'm staying all 4 hooves on the ground right here." And so the gang had to get off the mules and continue on foot because the police are now even closer than they were when they hopped on the mules. The crew starts running again, and eventually they get cornered in a ditch. And important to note, Clyde has a separation policy that I think he started with his brother, that both of them are like, if we're ever in a situation where one of us can escape and the other one can't, like escape and then come back around and find a way to get me out, you know? Clyde doesn't really do that, but whatever. Clyde tells a terrified Bonnie to lay low, like literally lay low in the ditch to avoid gunfire because she's like freaking out, she's scared, rightfully so. And the police begin firing in their direction. And as soon as there's even like a small break in the firing, Clyde and one of the other accomplices bolts.
Great.
Clyde runs directly between 2 police officers who are like struggling to like reload their guns and like continue to shoot at Clyde and now also chasing Clyde. So Clyde and that one accomplice escape. Bonnie and the 4th accomplice, who has been shot in the arm, are taken into custody. Bonnie is unharmed. Important to note. This next section is called Bonnie Held. The book that I read called it Bonnie Behind Bars, and I was like, I can't steal that, you know?
It's pretty good, though.
Yeah, it is. So Bonnie's captured and held under suspicion of participating in a robbery. When the news makes it back to Bonnie's mom, Emma is shocked, but obviously is a loving mother and is like, comes down and wants to help her. And so she speaks to the jailer's wife about raising bail to free Bonnie. And the wife is like, let me give you some advice. I'm going to be real with you. This bitch needs to learn her lesson. And also, from what I've heard, they don't have what it takes. So she's going to get released. But if I were you, I'd just let her sit.
What?
And she's not in like a hardened jail. Like she's in a local county jail while they wait for the charges and everything.
Keys on a hook just out of reach.
Yeah, exactly. Like that kind of situation. And Emma is like, I honestly don't have time to raise bail money to free my daughter. And honestly, I'm sick of this life that she's living with this boy that I really don't like.
Sometimes the best teacher is consequences of our own actions.
Exactly. And so Emma's like, bye, honey. I'm so, like, stay safe.
Bye, 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 bye.
Bye. Let me know when you're out.
Sorry, report. Cement City.
Cement City, we're going to go. I don't want to end up in the bog, Anyway, so Bonnie's being held. While she's being held there, she pens a collection of poetry that she called Poetry from Life's Other Side. And I believe you can probably access all of this somewhere online. One of the poems is called Suicidal Sal.
Oh.
And it's the story of a young girl named Sally, whose boyfriend, whose name is Jack, dragged her into a life of crime.
Interesting.
The couple gets caught, and Sal takes the fall for Jack. Wow, I wonder what that's about.
I'm loving the agency that we are seeing in this.
And what's Clyde up to, by the way? Which is it's not breaking Bonnie out of jail, which she did for him,
right.
By the way.
Correct.
He's
and
just
then hitchhiked home.
Yes.
As a young woman.
Yes. Across the plains of Texas. So Clyde's fucking doing whatever. So we're going to leave Bonnie in jail for a second and see what the fuck Clyde's up to. Clyde, April 30th, 1932. This is before Bonnie is released. Clyde and one of his accomplices, Raymond Hamilton, who I believe was a fellow inmate at Eastham, maybe, decide, once again, to do crime.
Prime crime.
I would do crime. I don't want to break my girlfriend who loves me very much out of jail. My girlfriend who I love because she's clingy out of jail.
Right.
I'm just
out of a pretty low security jail.
Low stakes system. I'm just going to do an armed robbery, I think. I think that's what I'll do.
Of the jail or?
No, just of a gas station.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll end up in jail together.
That would be the dream, except that would, whatever. I'm going to warn you, this event that I'm about to describe has its funny moments. Someone does die. Some of you may die.
And some of you may laugh along the way.
Some of you may laugh along the way. Okay, so they stop at a gas station that has a little gift shop inside of it. That's how one source described it. Another source described it as a jewelry store. Either way, neither of those descriptions make any fucking sense. So they stop at this gas station. The store clerk, a man named Bettel Jordan, asks if they can help the men because he's like, you guys are suspicious. Like, what do you need? How can I help you? And Raymond is like, I actually am really curious about the watches that you have. And so Bettel is like places some of the watches on the counter for Raymond to examine. And Raymond's like, oh, no, none of these are of the quality I'm looking for. I'm looking for like something more expensive. And so Bettel's like, all right, I got you. And like turns around, opens up the safe and pulls some more expensive watches out to show them. And the men are like, okay, thank you so much. And
Has this store clerk not listened to our 40 Elephants episode?
Honestly, we've been doing this. How to avoid being held up 101. The men thank Bettel and left. And this was actually just a ploy so that they could see what was inside the safe to see if it was worth robbing or not. And they saw like a bunch of high value jewelry, gold, silver jewelry, and just like stacks of cash. And so they were like, I think
business is doing well.
I think that'll do. And so they come back later that night and begin like banging on the front door of the store. Real fucking subtle. All the racket wakes up the store owner, John Butcher, and his wife. Yeah. His wife is like, just ignore it, they'll go away. And John, who was maybe worried it was someone in distress, answered it. At the door was Clyde and Ray, who were insisting that they urgently needed guitar strings. Again, what kind of gas station / jewelry store / gift shop has watches,
apartment too,
yeah, and an apartment and guitar strings? So
a real general store.
Truly, that's the kind of general store that's the only kind of general store me and your partner would have.
100%.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do very well, but it's okay.
No, not even a little bit. We'd have some cool shit though. So they handed John a $10 bill, which is way more than guitar strings cost at the time. And so John has to go to the safe to produce change. Unfortunately, John had some bad eyesight, so he calls his wife down so that she can open the safe for him. And as soon as the safe is open, Ray pulls the gun on John. Allegedly, Ray's, quote, anxious trigger finger, quote, accidentally pulled the trigger. The bullet hits the safe door and bounces off and hit John in the chest, and John dies on the spot. Obviously, at this point, John's wife, who I couldn't find the name for, I'm not trying to be misogynist, was sobbing. Clyde is screaming at Raymond for killing someone.
Right.
Raymond is screaming that it was an accident. He didn't mean to kill anyone. And everyone is shell-shocked. But then they like kind of recover and there's like, I mean, we can't fix it. Like what's done is done. And they grab the stuff out of the safe and they leave.
Right.
So now both men are wanted not just for robbery, but
for murder.
Clyde specifically being an accomplice to murder, but the cops don't, I don't think, know.
Not with a rap like that.
No.
Not for Muck Duck.
Not for Muck Duck. And I think at this point is when Clyde really has that like internal dialogue of, I am not going back to prison. And now that I'm wanted for murder, they would definitely put me at East Ham, and I'm not doing that shit again. And so this is really the point of no return for Clyde. What would you do in that situation, Grant?
I wouldn't have robbed a family.
Okay. You're around someone. You're in the vicinity of a crime.
I do have a break glass in case of emergency plan, which is get to Mexico as soon as possible before I'm not allowed to cross. And
wow,
then
original.
Become the activities director at a local resort.
Right. We've talked about this.
I have talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
And the original plan, I'm like, and I go by Dr. Thomas, but like not a medical doctor. I get it like in something stupid. And
like whatever you're doing right now.
That I'm not faking it in the story. I for real am a doctor in something stupid.
So that's a real good.
I never told you, and this is so funny, but I got a text from our dear, dear friend Tyler, and it just goes, "You're becoming a doctor?" And I go, "Surely I've told you." Listener, I hadn't.
It's been a while. It's been months.
He goes, "We kiki about so much, and yet sometimes I wonder if we kiki at all." And
we kiki a lot about you.
Right. And I love you. You've actually had some really fun updates recently.
It's
but
true. You have.
Sorry, little interlude here in the middle of what would Clyde do? He had gone through maybe just a smidge amount of like heartbreak or a romantic twist didn't break the way he wanted it to. I don't think
everyone else saw it coming. But
right. But he did text me at one point when I had my full on like AirPods in and like my phone nowhere near me.
Yeah.
But it was just like, "Fuck you, Grant, with your perfect job and your perfect hobbies and your perfect degree and your perfect boyfriend and your perfect friends and your perfect family.
If you settle down for once in your goddamn life."
Right, but like also in retrospect, I'm like, well, and I'm also getting a doctorate.
Well, Tyler, I love you. You know that.
I love you so much.
You
all
know that.
Out of
love. So Grant would escape to Mexico and be the activities director. I would go off the grid, I think. I would figure that out somehow.
I think what we are both doing is going off the grid.
Yeah.
I'm just also helping run live chess games of human-sized
Your picture is on a resort website.
I'm season 17 of The White Lotus.
Listen, that might get you pardoned. I've heard. So Clyde decides to, again, become a self-fulfilling prophecy and embrace his wicked ways. Literally 5 days later, Clyde and a getaway driver, whose name is Frank Claus, plan another crime, another robbery on a service station relatively close to Clyde's parents' place. This was when you didn't pump gas by yourself, and so they met the attendant in the station to pay for the gas, but instead of paying, they pulled guns on the attendant and demanded the contents of the cash register. And then they decided to just rinse and repeat this scheme.
Nice.
To Clyde's benefit, we are going to talk about several of the murders that he either is involved in or directly commits. He does, I think, try to keep most of his crimes nonviolent. Most of his agitation comes towards law enforcement. Still not great, though.
He has missed out on the opportunity, him and Frank Claus, to do an early version of Thelma and Louise where they are on the run from the law for like dubiously questionable, but like maybe legit crimes that they've committed. Crazy sexual chemistry between the two of them that does not get addressed in the movie. And then they, drive into the Grand Canyon, but not on a road.
Okay.
How that movie ends. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Yeah, there's I'm not even going to say anything. Sorry.
It's like a spoiler to the same degree of like
31
Romeo
minutes.
Yeah, nice. Good.
Remember a car driving into the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
Gotcha. So Clyde, who has now accepted his new identity, is also like, and I want Bonnie back.
Nice.
And of course, Bonnie loves a controlling man. But June 17th of 1932, which is like 2 months, I think, the charges against Bonnie are finally dropped. 2 months. Prosecutors were unable to produce the necessary evidence to charge her, and a grand jury convened and dismissed the charges. So she was released with a completely clean record.
Okay.
I think, just for the record, I think Emma, her mother, was told by the jailer's wife that she thought Bonnie would be held for a couple weeks.
But like, she's going to get out.
She'll get out. It's going to be fine. So Bonnie returns home to Emma's house with her tail between her legs, kind of. And Emma is ecstatic to learn that Bonnie says she is no longer interested in Clyde Barrow.
Of course, she's 17, so that doesn't mean anything. But
she's like 20, maybe.
Still doesn't mean anything.
No. But then she has to like just kind of live her life, you know, and you can't find a job because it's the Great Depression. And her mom works during the day. I assume her siblings aren't there, so she's just kind of like, you know, like nothing going on.
I bet Clyde is doing something fun right now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Crazy how many similarities my current situation has to prison. I wonder what Clyde's doing right now.
We have friends that do that. So the U.S. is in midst of the Depression, so she couldn't really get a job, and so she took a hint from the economy and got depressed herself.
Ooh.
Parentheses, ha. One day, while Bonnie is at home with nothing to do, and while her mom was at work, smooth-talking Clyde came calling. And when Emma came home that night, she came home to a house that had not Bonnie, but a note scrawled in Bonnie's handwriting that said she's going to take up a waitressing job actually at a restaurant 200 miles away at this brand new restaurant.
That everyone knows about, and they were shopping for waitresses in the neighborhood.
To be fair, because this is a Great Depression, I'm told by sources that this was not necessarily out of like the realm of possibility.
Okay.
That people were going long distances to get work.
Okay.
And Emma knew that Bonnie was bored out of her ever-loving mind. And so I don't know if Emma had an inkling that something was going on and just chose to believe her daughter, or if she genuinely believed what was happening. Bonnie even went so far as to send a postcard from Wichita, Kansas, telling Emma about all the new things she was experiencing and the new places that she was living and her new job. But actually she was with Clyde and a band of outlaws who were renting a spot in Wichita. So, yeah.
Listen, if anything justifies doing crime, it is moving to Kansas.
They never go anywhere interesting, you know? This next section is called Wanted. August 1st, 1932, Clyde and his outlaw buddies robbed a place called Newhoff Brothers Packing Company in Dallas. They robbed the place while the clerk is counting payroll. They pulled the telephone lines and they fled. It is unclear where Bonnie was during the time of the crime. What we do know is a few days later, Clyde is on the run and he drops Bonnie off at Emma's house.
Hey, so waitressing job was fake. I have been doing crime with Clyde. But I'm back.
Girl, I am in this man's bed. I thought you were studying about that.
For those of you who don't know what Maia is doing right now,
the only time I have ever accepted an AI-generated song in my life
is they turn it into like a gospel spiritual of text messages that have come in.
About this woman who has to escape her boyfriend's house out of a window.
Sounds a lot like a listener episode.
It really does.
So
let us know.
Bonnie is once again back in jail, aka at her mother's house.
Yeah. So and also Clyde is now off doing crime without Bonnie.
Right.
And so while passing through Oklahoma against Clyde's better judgment, Raymond and Ross, the two people that were part of the Barrow gang at the time, insist that they go out to a dance hall. And Clyde is like, A, not interested in picking up women, which is what the other two want to do. And also, we're wanted.
Right.
Don't know if you knew that.
I was going going to be a whole town of people there.
Yeah. And so Raymond and Ross were like, we're not that well known. You know, like people don't know our faces and we want to meet girls. So Clyde's like, okay. And so at some point in the evening, Clyde and the other two are out by their car drinking moonshine from a mason jar when a couple of police officers identified not their faces, but the vessel they were drinking from because it's prohibition.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because it's illegal. And so before anyone knew what was happening, the criminals are shooting at Deputy Eugene Moore and Sheriff C.G. Maxwell. Eugene is fatally shot and CG is wounded, but he is able to pop off a few shots at the getaway vehicle, which caused the vehicle to stall out. Not to be deterred, don't worry, they're used to running on foot. The trio then went on a hijacking spree, found another car, then traded it for another car, and then traded it for another car as they made their way across the country back to Texas, back to an old hideout that they had used in Texas. And eventually, they're at this hideout, and he's like, Raymond, go fetch Bonnie for me.
I don't think we're going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Go ahead and bring me my girl to me.
Bring her to me. And so Raymond goes to her, and Raymond tells her, Clyde's waiting for you. And she, no questions asked, gets in the car.
Let's go.
Bitch, what the fuck?
I am a little... And we learn something new every episode.
Yes,
and I think
we
that's
do.
great.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely saw, in my mind's eye, just Bonnie and Clyde together, just shooting up. Not Bonnie gets dropped off at her mom's house, and Clyde has weekend custody.
Clyde sends his errand boy to
correct.
go fetch her for him. So Clyde, Bonnie, and Raymond then make their way to Carlsbad, New Mexico, which is where Bonnie's aunt Nettie Stamps lives on a farm.
Fun town, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Never been there.
It's New Mexico.
Yeah, that's fair. Never been there either.
Enchanted land.
No.
Really?
Yeah, to New Mexico. Yeah.
Wait, okay.
Or Arizona. I need to go to both. Yeah. So,
yeah, okay, good. Okay, yeah, keep going.
I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to talk about a place I've never been.
I got there within like 2 months of moving here. That's crazy.
And I've lived, whatever. All seemed to go well until Raymond was recognized as a wanted fugitive.
Right, naturally.
By a local patrol officer whose name was Joe Johns, while Raymond, allegedly, was trying to buy ice cream. So Joe is like, wait a minute. And then follows Raymond as Raymond gets in the car and drives back to the farm. Raymond has no idea he's being followed. And so they get to the farm, and then he watches Raymond go in. He waits for a while, and then he just like fucking alone, goes up to the door.
Nice.
At a place he knows a wanted fugitive is, which is like, Joe, honey, sweetie baby, what the fuck?
In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere, yeah. And so he knocks on the door, and then Bonnie opens it. And Bonnie is not a wanted fugitive, so he wouldn't recognize her. And Joe's like, whose car is that?
Is your dad home?
She's 4'10". Yeah, definitely looking down on her. Bonnie answers the door, and he asks, whose car is that? Because he's like, that's the car of the wanted fugitive. And Bonnie's like, oh, that's actually my friend's car who's like visiting. I'll go get him for you. And Joe is like, cool. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. And so Bonnie closes the door and then is like, Clyde, there's a cop here.
Run. Scatter.
And so I would run. I would think running is the thing to do. Clyde and Raymond, however, arm themselves, sneak out the back, and try and surprise the police officer.
They're like, what if we just did murder real quick?
What if we keep going? They don't murder him, though. That's the interesting thing about this one.
Okay.
They confront him. They surprise him, get him to drop his weapon because he's like, not winning this fight. And then they put him in the car with them and then take off. And then after
they leave Bonnie again?
No, Bonnie's with them. And then after they feel that they have put a safe distance between themselves and Nellie's farm, which they were last known to be seen, they just like drop Joe off on the side of the road.
Great.
And they're like, bye, have fun.
You know Bonnie had to sit in the back with Joe.
Okay, what I did find out is that there was like, I don't know if it's one or two instances of people that were kidnapped by Bonnie and Clyde who were like, Bonnie was a delight, though. Just like
us middle children always are. We are real conversationalists.
Yeah, you don't shut up.
Why bother?
No one listens. They dropped Joe off on the side of the road, and I'm not sure how widespread the story became, but the public had assumed Joe was dead. And so they were like, holy shit, you're alive. And unharmed. That's fucking crazy. And so
the guy who just got in Joe's job being like, oh no.
Oh no. You gotta go missing again, my dude. So the trio ends up like driving like this long convoluted path trying to lose the cops.
Right.
It doesn't work. At some point Clyde
just drive fast in one direction. Stop changing.
Clyde is driving and he's like, those people are following us. And so he like kind of slows down, waits for them to catch up, and then does like the craziest fucking U-turn. And as he's like pulling by them, shoots at the car and wounds the police in the car and escapes. And then they have no idea where they are again.
So I'm going to tell a story that happened when I was at school once.
I don't like where this is going.
Here's the thing. It's not unsettling, but it's not. I'm just gonna share it.
Yeah.
Welcome to enjoy.
Welcome to enjoy.
Years ago, I taught at a school that hired a former U.S. Army veteran, who had spent a lot of time in the Army, and there's a lot of great people in the Army. A lot of people go there for a lot of different reasons. There's a real economic leg up, right? I'm just trying to make sure this is clear. This is not my way of saying this is everyone who's a veteran of the Army.
Right.
He, however, I think could have benefited from resources to talk about what he had experienced.
Yes.
Because one day at lunch, he just freely offered to us that the best way to execute a crime is to cross state lines, buy a gun with cash in one state, buy bullets with cash in another state, and then commit that crime in a third state and ditch the gun in a fourth state. That it would be like
jurisdictionally a nightmare to solve. Yeah.
And everyone was like,
why
the
would
fuck
you
did
know
you just say that to us? It's teacher lunch on a Tuesday. Needless to say, he was not asked to return.
And then he finished his salad? Like, what?
Yeah, all of us were like, I have to go print something now. And then
you
just
all
like,
are lined up.
yeah, just like immediately leave. Yeah, correct. Yes, correct.
Oh.
So what I'm trying to say is that Clyde needs to cross state lines.
And he does a lot.
Good.
They're kind of covering the...
Does he get to Colorado?
Not that I know
they're,
of.
They're criminals. But
like, no,
Colorado
it wasn't
reference,
mentioned. You know? But it's possible. Like they were all over the place.
Sure.
So this next section is called Crime Spree. More crime, more spree.
Great.
They end up doing a lot of holdups and robberies. They stay nonviolent for a period, obviously. Clyde keeps things simple. He just pretends to be a customer, brings items to the store clerk while the store clerk is like bagging them for him or whatever. They'll look up after bagging them, and then Clyde will just be pointing a gun at them.
They'll be like, I'm not going to pay, but it's free, or you're going to pay.
He's just like, give me everything in your cash register. Yeah. Anyway.
He's like also taking like a bag of chips or whatever, right? Like he's like also
like he's also getting the groceries. He's like, and do you have milk? Go
ahead and put the cash in the bag. Not on top of the eggs. My God, animal. Put them in the other bag.
He's waving around his gun.
Yeah, exactly.
October 11th, 1932. At this point, I think for most of these crimes, Bonnie is left at home. Clyde runs his usual routine at a grocery store. Unfortunately, the commotion brings out the store owner, 57-year-old Howard Hall. Something Howard says to Clyde pisses Clyde off a lot. Like, Clyde is holding the store clerk at gunpoint, and Howard says something that pisses Clyde off, so much so that he punches Howard.
Whoa.
One source said that Howard had simply told Clyde that he shouldn't be doing that. And given Clyde's aversion to authority and the fact that he probably hasn't had an authority figure in his life for like the last year or so now.
And also how narcissists respond to shame triggers.
Maybe, yeah. Clyde went to punch Howard again, but Howard grabbed Clyde's arm, which then pissed Clyde off more, which resulted in Clyde pulling a trigger on Howard, who would die a few hours later from multiple gunshot wounds. This happens in full view of several customers who alerted the police. The customers, as well as the store clerk who had been initially held up, whose name was Homer Glaze, was able to give a detailed description of Clyde. Clyde is 5'6", slender, clean-shaven, estimated to be about 25. He was 23. Wearing a dark gray felt hat, dark trousers, and a light jacket. Clyde, of course, had long fled the scene. And allegedly while he was escaping, he got a flat tire and had to pull over on the side of the road and then, like, flag down some motorists who helped him pump up his tire.
And didn't rob them or anything.
No,
just like, thanks, Good Samaritan.
Thanks so much. Yeah, and then he fled eastward, and he picked up Bonnie on the way, obviously. The following day, a $200 reward was put up for Clyde Barrow.
Wow.
$200 is about $4,800 today.
Yeah, you can get a third of a mule at that price.
Or multiple mules.
100%.
Mugshots are made public. It's around this time that I think, like, people are starting to become familiar with the Clyde Barrow, Clyde gang story. But it's when more and more of these murders come out, the public opinion continues to sort of turn away from them. And so I'm not sure where on that spectrum we are now.
Okay.
It could be at the beginning because I don't know how notorious he is yet. But just know that each time there is a murder that gets publicized, more people are disenchanted with them. I don't know if they know about Bonnie really at the time or just Clyde themselves. Clyde himself. When the mugshots are put out and the reward offered, those motorists that helped him pump up his tire were like, oh, we saw that guy.
Oh, yikes.
We saw him. He was heading east, you know. Bonnie and Clyde and their accomplices continue to hit establishment after establishment. At some point, they go home, visit family. That seems to be uneventful. Clyde's family had heard about the murder and were like, what the fuck are you doing? And Clyde is just such a smooth talker that he's just like, no, you don't get, like, it was a total misunderstanding.
Right.
Or, like, the cops are just trying to pin all this shit on me and none of it's actually shit that I've done, you know? And I guess they believe him or they choose to believe him. At one point, November 30th, 1932, they're robbing a bank in Missouri. Clyde and his gang member, Frank Hardy, drew their guns and started making demands, but the bank had armed guards of their own, and so a firefight began. During the shooting, Frank jumps into the teller's booth and bags up a bunch of cash. The pair run away, literally dodging bullets, and they count their loot, and they had less than $100.
Ooh.
So that's not uncommon for them either.
Okay.
Like, it's disappointing, but there were times that they made out with like $10.
They are robbing small businesses.
Yeah, like they're not robbing the big corporations. Like, I'm sure they are robbing some, but they're robbing the places that are easy to rob.
The jewelry place had one of the biggest payouts.
Yeah. So the gang would use whatever they made from these robberies to then pay for rent on a place that they would stay at, pay for necessities, and then when the money ran out, they would like kind of pack up and leave, hit a place on their way out, and then leave town, and then find a new place, and kind of rinse and repeat with that thing. By December of 1932, the FBI, which was then called the Bureau of Investigation, became interested in Bonnie and Clyde, the Barrow gang. A stolen Ford that had been stolen from Pawhuska, Oklahoma, was found near Jackson, Missouri in Michigan, in 1932. In Oklahoma, they found another abandoned Ford, which had been stolen from Illinois.
Interesting.
Inside the abandoned Ford in Oklahoma, there was a prescription bottle that had originated from a completely separate town in Texas. And this was prescribed to Clyde Barrow's aunt. When investigating the aunt, it's found out that she had been visited recently by Clyde Barrow, Bonnie Parker, and Clyde's brother, L.C. The trio were driving the Ford that had been stolen from Illinois. And so the FBI is like, wait a fucking
So they're
second.
in Texas, Oklahoma, Michigan, and Illinois.
So meanwhile, while the FBI are like starting to be like, holy shit, Bonnie and Clyde travel down to Waco, Texas, then to Temple, Texas, where they rent a cabin. That's where Bonnie and Clyde are on December 24th, 1932, along with their accomplice at the moment, W.D. Jones, William Daniels Jones. He had replaced Raymond as like their gunman starting in like November of 1932. I believe Raymond had gone back to Eastham Prison.
Okay.
This is a quote from the book. On Christmas morning of 1932, the group woke up bright and early, not to spread Christmas cheer, but to steal a car. And I'm not going to go into the...
But to steal a car.
But to steal a car. I'm not going to go into the details of this, but basically the next day on December 25th, they steal a car, and as a result, the man who owns the car who had come out during the commotion is shot and dies. or will die later. But this would be the first time Bonnie actually like witnesses Clyde murder someone.
The byproduct of their actions.
Yeah, and it actually doesn't seem to faze her really at all. So that's good. But at some point she is yelling at Clyde, like, because they have a car. So she's in the other car. Clyde's trying to steal this car. She's yelling at him to like forget it, leave him alone, all this stuff. And Clyde just like can't let it go. They are wrestling over a gun at the time, so I don't know how easy it would have been for Clyde to let it go. But yeah, at some point, the man whose name was Doyle Johnson, is killed. So now we're going to get into 1933, and we're going to speed run some of this because it's a lot of the same stuff.
They have a very set way of doing things.
So they're going to go back to Dallas, visit family. Apparently, whenever they visited family, I don't know what Bonnie's routine would be, but Clyde's routine was he would put like I don't know if he would put a message in a bottle. I don't think so. I think he would throw just like a cola bottle out the window as he was passing by his family's like filling station, and they would find it and without fail would like find a way to meet up with him.
So like
I think in the message in the bottle was like when and where to meet up.
Okay.
Or something like that. At some point they end up at a safe house that's actually the house of an accomplice's sister, and the cops are actually there waiting for an entirely different criminal. But luckily, they're able to leave, or someone in the house shoots a warning or shouts a warning, and so the couple are able to escape. Unfortunately, a deputy, Sheriff Malcolm Davis, is shot and killed, but Bonnie and Clyde do escape. There's another instance where they kidnap a police officer and then like free him. They're taking a police hostage. They've been pulled over for speeding. At this point, like they're not super concerned about being noticed or being recognized because like the person would have to have seen the mugshots to recognize them, and they're pretty confident they would know ahead of time if the person knew who they were, just because there'd be like more police cars or something. So they're just pulled over for speeding. Clyde actually waits to get over this overpass that he's on to pull over because he wants more maneuverability in case things go sour. Unfortunately, the police officer, whose name is Thomas Purcell, is like pissed off. He feels that's like insubordinate. He's like, you should have pulled over immediately. And Clyde's like, literally go fuck yourself. And so he pulls a gun on Thomas Purcell, and then WD from the back seat gets out with the pistol, shoves the cop into the back seat of the car, covers him with a blanket. They drive off, and then the car dies. Like this group experiences like just the craziest things. They should have been caught at every turn, and then they never are. So the car dies. Bonnie and Clyde stay with the car. Clyde tells WD to go to the next town to like steal the first car battery he finds. WD brings the police officer with him to help him carry the battery back. They steal a battery, carry it back, install it in the car, and then leave the cop on the side of the road. What?
Having now witnessed another crime that they just committed.
Yes. What?
How do you steal a car battery with like a cop right there, you know?
I don't know. I mean, he had no way of apprehending them, I guess.
Sure.
But
you go along with it.
Yeah. March 23rd, 1933, Clyde's brother, Buck Barrow, is released from Texas State Prison after receiving a full pardon from the governor.
Good.
Their mom is really just writing letters.
A bunch of... She knows what the pardon board wants to hear.
Yeah, she's using it like a different name each time. So Buck ends up joining the trio of Bonnie, Clyde, and WD, along with his wife, Blanche. April 12th, 1932.
Is this the same Blanche that dated Clyde for a while?
No, this is the Blanche that has always been in love with Buck.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So the crew, which is now 5 strong, commit a number of heists.
It's a full car.
Yeah, it is a full car. Sometimes 2. And they end up laying low and settling in Joplin, Missouri to kind of like cool everyone's heels. Authorities end up getting a good description of the getaway car, track it, and end up like closing in on the house, and like the crew has like a cornbread in the oven. Like they're fully like not expecting any of this.
Okay.
But Clyde sees them out the window and is like, run! And so they all run, get out, and I think all of them escape, and 2 people die as a result. No one in the crew. It's a Constable Wesley Harriman and Detective Harry McGinnis. But after the crew flees, fled, the house is searched, and it's discovered that they had left behind some undeveloped film of them posing with weapons and cars that they had stolen. And so the cops obviously develop the film and publish it all over the fucking news.
And then 60 years later, Chapel Roan will be born in that town.
Incredible.
I'm 80% sure she's from Joplin, Missouri.
I'm obsessed with
Do you know how I remembered that?
No.
This is the most Midwestern thing I've ever said, which is why no one from Ohio will get it. Kidding. Like a tornado ravaged the town like years ago, and in the Midwest, you remember those towns. They rebuilt.
That's good. I think actually this is when the public is like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah, they're like, okay, hot. Did not know that was a thing.
I'm going to show you a picture. There is one picture here there's 2 pictures of Bonnie and Clyde. One picture of just Bonnie, and she has like a gun and a cigar. And I think there's a letter of her writing to either her mom or like her sister or something that was like, tell them that I don't actually smoke cigars. Like she wanted people to know that she was like, I was just posing with it.
Sweetheart.
Yeah. And then there's a photo of WD with a car.
Top left, I'm assuming, is Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes.
So the thing is, Clyde doesn't really kind of grow out of his like boyish looks.
He's
you know?
not as like round faced, which I think
No.
helps him a little.
I think the fact is his hair is kind of plastered to his head, which makes him look like Alfalfa from Little Rascals.
Yeah, that's true.
I have 100% seen this photo from of Bonnie before.
The one of her and the cigar.
Correct. And it's just like you have like a knitted half cardigan.
Like it's a photo that would be taken today.
It's actually, but like in a thrift store in my mind, because it's so funny because she has a knitted half cardigan, cigar and pistol, and then like a beret.
Yes.
Like, girl, pick a style.
Patty Hearst could never.
Is bottom left brother.
W.D. Jones.
That's W.D. Okay. Who looks like a seasoned hardcore criminal. And
I think he actually did live to be pretty old. I don't remember. I think he ends up in jail a couple
might
times.
be the reason why pinstripes are considered like a bad guy thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
The
again,
fourth picture is my favorite.
the classic photo of Bonnie pretending to rob Clyde.
Look how amused he is with her,
They
though.
have a fun little bond.
Yeah. He's looking at her like he loves her, and she has a gun pressed to his stomach.
I mean, you know, it's a simpler time back
is.
then.
Well, it was certainly simple for them because all they had to do was rob shit and leave, I guess. I don't know.
I knew a girl in college whose name was Bonnie, and she had a very long-term boyfriend. I think they're married now and have a kid or two. And
I was bullied by a Bonnie in high school.
Sure. Okay, my story, not yours, but
You're right, I wasn't done.
anyways, my story has a Bonnie, she's married to a Mark, and I just remember everyone, obviously we're a little drunk at this college party when we first meet them, and we're like, oh my God, it's like Bonnie and Clyde. And Bonnie was like, yeah, but it's like not. And I was like, oh, okay.
So you've gotten that before.
Button. Gotcha.
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyways,
yes.
Did your Bonnie have a similar kind of trigger response, or what was it? Was it good for you? What was that like?
It wasn't. I have a lot of stories, but they have to stay behind a paywall. I think I've told most of them. Anyway, these photos being released were to educate the public and being like, these are criminals. You should like tell us if you see them. But it also made them like super fucking popular.
Sure.
You know? But it also meant that they couldn't risk being seen in public. So they couldn't eat in restaurants. They couldn't stay at motels anymore. So
Right.
they're living out our friend Tyler Pritchard's dream. They are sleeping in cars and bathing in streams and like cooking over a little fire.
Saving so much money, living in a van.
Yes. Love you so much, Tyler. But
The only difference is that Tyler makes more than anyone else in the group.
Yes. His fiscal habits are something I aspire to and could literally never do. I have a podcast. He would not have bought any of this.
He texted our group recently. I know you saw it. It's about the volleyball Volo league that we're all in. And he wants someone, apparently he only needs a ride back to Union Station so that way he can then take the Flatiron Flyer back up. And it's like none of us live in that part of town
anymore.
And so thus none of us really want to drive downtown to then turn around and drive 4 times the distance back to our home, like originally.
Yeah.
And Also, you will then be on a bus and then like probably another bus for like an hour.
Yeah.
And it's just like
you could be home in 30 minutes.
18.
Yeah.
At that point in the
That's
evening,
true.
18 minutes. But we love them for it.
Are you doing the volleyball league?
Yeah, we're going to talk after this episode about some of the schedule. I'm sorry. I got cornered at the party.
Why?
I got cornered at the party, 2 margaritas in, and both the margaritas had a tequila floater. But I'm also excited about it, and I love volleyball. But I've already paid the registration.
Who else is doing it? I feel betrayed.
Jacob and Lydia are not. At least Lydia is for sure not.
Is Casey doing it?
He
might be.
Do you want me just to find the roster real quick?
Fine.
Tell me about the next crime they commit.
Yes. Right. I was talking about crimes.
Primetime crimes.
So the gang is going to continue to terrorize the law and businesses across Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, New Mexico, as well as other states. This should, again, go without saying, but there are many more instances of crimes, some that I just didn't include, some that the book that I read and the sources that I read did not mention, or some that I was like, this is an exact repeat of the crime that I just talked about. So if I missed your favorite crime, I'm sorry.
It blended in.
May 20th, 1933, Kathy Bates.
Hell yeah, Texas governor.
Yes, actually, it's not Kathy Bates. It's the U.S. Commissioner in Dallas, Texas, issued a warrant against Bonnie and Clyde, charging them with interstate transportation and a stolen automobile from Illinois.
At least one.
At least one. June 10th, 1933. Remember when I said in 31 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. June 10th, 1933, while driving past Wellington, Texas, Clyde's going, he's just cruising, maybe going too fast. Who knows? He misses a sign. What do you think the sign said?
Yield?
No, it said, this bridge that you're about to drive on is unfinished.
What?
So he drove off an unfinished bridge, dropped into a ravine. The car flipped over. I'm going to let you have your reactions.
What?
Again, these people are experiencing things that would, like, absolutely end anyone else's criminal career.
That's like a Coyote and the Roadrunner end of an episode situation.
Yes, that's like a circle zooming in on Clyde's face.
It's just a sign and not like a roadblock?
I don't know. It's the 30s.
Great, okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Bonnie gets trapped in the car. She suffers severe third-degree burns from acid leaking from the car battery. It gets pretty bad, and I don't think her leg ever fully recovers from this. Another source said her leg was broken, but I think more sources said it was just like really severe damage, like
from battery acid.
Yeah, from battery acid that affected like muscles, and it got pretty bad, pretty gruesome. After this, the gang ends up in Missouri again, where they camp out in a remote wooded area. Unfortunately, that remote wooded area was owned by someone, and that someone was like, fuck squatters, even though it's like the Great Depression and like people are struggling, dude. Like, will you fucking chill? But anyway, the police finally are like, we should figure out who these people are before we just like walk up and like knock on their tent, you know? And so they realize who they're dealing with, but unfortunately, the Barrow gang are like 5 steps ahead of them and are gone. And then they do that dance several times where they're somewhere, someone reports them as being there, and then the police are like, oh my God, we got him. And then they turn back around and they're gone. One of these times, though, July of 1933, while they're trying to escape, Buck is shot in the head.
What?
I think it was like through the temples or something like that.
Jeez.
He survived. Like, he doesn't survive for long, but he survived.
Like the initial shot.
Well, he survives and then makes it to the next time the police catch up with them, when he's shot again, and that's what... And even then, he doesn't die. He, like, makes it to the hospital before he dies.
It's giving Rasputin.
Like, that's crazy. So he survives that, getting shot through the head. He makes it to the next shootout, and then Buck is shot again in the torso, and this time they're forced to abandon Buck in their escape.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah, Clyde is like, Blanche, you gotta come with us. And Blanche is like, I will not leave Buck.
Okay.
And so she stays with him and
Stand by your man.
Stand by me. And then she gets apprehended by the police.
Right.
Buck gets sent to the hospital, but he succumbs to his wounds and passes away on July 29th, 1933. Blanche ends up taking the fall for Buck's involvement in some of the shootouts. and her participation was deemed enough to merit jail time, and she was sentenced to 10 years.
Wow.
I think she probably, I don't know if she's like intentionally trying to take the fall or if she just lies and says that she was there when she wasn't, because I do think for most of these crimes, her and Bonnie were not present, or at least were like maybe in the car.
Certainly weren't the drivers.
No.
Either of the crime or the vehicles.
No. And I think Blanche was probably even more opposed to some of this life than Bonnie was. Have you heard that meme on like Instagram and TikTok? The saxophones are getting louder.
I agree with that.
This one's called The Saxophones Are Getting Louder. Okay. Bonnie, Clyde, and W.D. Jones continued on their spree and evasion of law enforcement. Jones is eventually captured in November of 1933 in Houston by sheriffs, and so Bonnie and Clyde are on their own.
Abandoned again.
They're both kind of homesick, so in November, they end up planning a picnic with their families. Of course, this is reported. They end up like in Grand Prairie, Texas, and once again, it's like reported, and the police are like, "We're gonna get you," and then they're like, "Psych, we're gone."
And it's all happening on the newspapers.
Yes, yeah, literally. Eventually, November 22nd, 1933, Texas sheriff and his deputies set a trap to capture the couple in Grand Prairie, Texas. They escaped, held up an attorney on the highway, and stole his car, which they then abandoned in Miami, Oklahoma. Amazing. December 21st, 1933, Bonnie and Clyde held up and robbed a citizen in Shreveport, Louisiana. And then I think Bonnie and Clyde then go to Eastham State Prison, where Clyde had previously been held, and like broke out some prisoners. This was something that Clyde and his like friend in the prison while he was detained, or while he was imprisoned, had talked about doing because of all the trauma that they were facing. They were like, after we get out, we're going to come back here and get people out. So I'm not sure if this was the only time that they did that or if this is the second time that they did that. But they did try and get people out of there. Then April 1st, 1934, Bonnie and Clyde encountered two highway patrolmen near Grapevine, Texas. And the patrolmen are shot before they could even pull their guns. And this is considered the final straw in public opinion. The last of their supporters are like, all right.
Because they shoot unarmed people.
Yeah, or people that like hadn't even like drawn a gun. Then later on, they mortally wound a constable, abduct and wound a police chief. Finally, wanted notices are placed out and about like in insane detail.
Okay.
I'm going to show you these wanted notices. They're fingerprints. There are descriptions of family members. There are like relatives. There are criminal records. Like it's...
Whoa.
Like it's an essay.
They definitely have more material on Clyde than they do Bonnie.
Yeah. Bonnie, they're using the same photos that they had previously found.
The relatives is tough.
Yeah.
They're tiny little things.
Yeah, they're so small.
Bonnie's 100 pounds and Clyde is 150 pounds.
Yeah. Yep.
The relatives list is, again, like...
That's tough.
That's really tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So...
And they're being tried under the National Motor Vehicle Theft Act. Good.
It's like getting tried for mail fraud. You know, when you're actually committing a scam with McDonald's and millions of dollars.
It's the interstate part of it.
Yes.
That's the issue.
Yes. May 1934. The law enforcement is like, that's it. This encounter is the final encounter.
Okay.
They had received word from, there's a former member of the Barrow gang, that guy's father.
Okay.
Who's like, I know where they're going to be. I'm sick of all of this shit. Here's where they're going to be and when they're going to be there. And it's in like Shreveport, Louisiana. And that they're going to be arriving on Louisiana State Highway 154 in a stolen 1934 Ford V8. So the law enforcement set up like kind of a trap near Gibbsland, Louisiana, and they waited all day and then into the next morning. And then finally, around 9:15 a.m. on May 23rd, 1934, a 1934 Ford V8 appears. The car... There's a couple versions of the story, so we'll talk about it. But the car slows down to pass the lawman. And as the car slows down, officers open fire and fire about 130 rounds.
Jeez. Especially for like that time.
Yes. Another version of the story says that they saw their friend's dad on the side of the road next to his broken down car. And so they stopped, or they slowed down to like check on him.
There's bait.
And that's when the police shot. So I don't know which one is true. And I'm sure there are more stories. Grant, I'm going to show you pictures of the car.
Okay.
There's not going to be anything gruesome.
Okay.
Like you can see a body, but you can't see any blood. Do you think they deserve to die like that?
Ooh, like in a shootout like that?
Yeah.
Deserves a tough word because I think this is how they would want to go.
Yeah.
Based off their other activities. I mean, collectively, Clyde's killed 5, 6, 7 people?
I do have that number somewhere. Clyde is responsible for most of the gang is believed to have murdered at least 12 people, and he's probably done most of them.
Then, like, I don't think necessarily a death and like a gunfight is like dishonorable for someone like them. Actually might be like too glorious of a death, you know? Like wasting away in prison for 2.5 years before you're like kind of unceremoniously executed on like a Tuesday morning. Cause like while their story is kind of fun, they weren't like, it's fun from like the love component. Like they weren't Robin Hood, you know, by any means.
No.
So yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with them dying in a shootout like that.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings towards it because I think it is how I know Clyde would rather die than go back to jail.
Right.
And that's where he would have ended up. But like, did they deserve, like from a moral standpoint, did they deserve a trial? The police did not give them a chance to surrender. You know, like there's some complexities there. But
Sure.
Anyway, here are the photos. The top one is of the crime scene. The second one is more of the car. I believe Clyde likely died from the first gunshot wound, but both him and Bonnie were shot multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are more gruesome pictures if you're interested in
I'm
that kind
sure
of
there
morbid
are.
curiosity.
This photo is not morbid only because it's black and white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. But I mean, like, this is going to sound awful, I know. I'm kind of impressed by the aim. Like, and especially in the second photo, like, you can tell what they were aiming for. And by and large, they hit it, which means also the police officers had to be so close to them.
So close.
So just like by nature of like wind and like the human hand moving as you're firing, like there's factors that like should have maybe dispersed it more. And it's so concentrated.
The accuracy is there.
Yeah.
Yes. So now my favorite section, legacy.
Okay.
The two were so infamous that people tried to take souvenirs from the scene of their
I fully
death.
believe it.
Locks of hair, pieces of clothing, one of Clyde's ears.
Yeah.
Yikes. There's now a memorial stone at the site of their death, and the stone has, of course, been vandalized and chipped away at. Here is a picture. I'm not sure what year this was taken, but this is what the memorial stone looks like.
I mean, honestly,
makes sense.
the chipping actually, though, unfortunately, has like
It looks
given it a
kinda
nice
nice.
rounded version of it. Yeah. This site, May 23, 19, I'm guessing like 34.
34, yeah.
Clyde Barrow and then several names.
Yeah.
And Parker, but it's like Bonnie Parker, were killed by enforcement officers, erected by parish. David was here.
Yeah. The bullet-ridden car is currently on display outside of a casino in Vegas.
Classic America.
Classic America.
100% classic America.
Remember, that car was stolen. It actually did belong to a woman whose name was Ruth Warren from Topeka, Kansas.
Okay.
She did eventually sell the car, which, like, it ended up on, like, some vaudeville shows.
Sure.
I think, like, a show run by a guy who like presented the car and then also did like a Q&A or something with Clyde and Bonnie's moms.
What?
Yeah, I saw that one place and I was like, I actually can't
America
look into that.
is the Hunger Games. You don't have to slip into it.
What the fuck do you mean?
Let's bring him out there now. Here is Emma, everybody. Emma and Mrs. Chestnut.
Tell us, what was the first sign that your daughter was going to go into this life of crime? Yeah, so it's on display at this casino, I think blood and all. The Barrow gang, in all of its many forms, is believed to have murdered at least 12 people, 9 law enforcement, and 3 or 4 citizens. Clyde is responsible for most of those killings. Most of their heists were not banks, but small stores, and usually each one netting less than a few $100s. The funerals for the couple were held as separate events in May of 1934. Clyde's funeral drew a crowd of how much? How many people?
3,000.
15,000.
Okay. 15. Not 1,500. 15,000.
15,000.
Okay.
And Bonnie's drew
20,000.
Yeah, 20,000. So remember that book of poetry Bonnie wrote?
Yeah.
2 weeks after Bonnie's death, prearranged by Bonnie. A lot of sources say that like at the beginning of 1934, Bonnie was hearing the saxophones get louder. Like she knew the end was coming. Like there's no way to escape it. And
Too much stuff's been happened already.
Like there's no way. So prearranged by Bonnie, a separate poem written by Bonnie was given to Emma, her mother. The poem was called The Trail's End, and here's just a part of it. Someday they'll go down together. They'll bury them side by side. To a few it'll be grief, the law relief, but it's death for Bonnie and Clyde.
Whoa. It's actually really, really well done.
I know. Unfortunately, despite their wishes to be buried next to each other, they were buried in separate cemeteries. Allegedly a decision made by Emma Parker, but who knows?
Could see.
Yeah. Clyde's headstone at Western Heights Cemetery originally stood upright. I love that sentence.
Yeah, I bet it did.
What do you mean? It was stolen and then recovered and then stolen and recovered and then stolen and recovered. 5 times it was stolen and recovered. The last one being in 1980. After that last time, the headstone, they were like, fuck it. They embedded it into a block of cement and placed it as a flat marker in the ground. Yeah.
Okay.
Roy Thornton and Bonnie's husband, Roy Thornton and Bonnie Parker, would remain separated, but never divorced. Reportedly, Roy did try to reunite with her at least one other time after their split in 1927, either in 1929 or 1930, but Bonnie rebuffed him every time. The majority of the time that they were legally married, he was in prison. But like I said, there's no legal evidence of their divorce. Bonnie would, however, wear her wedding ring from Roy until her death, even while with Clyde. Roy Thornton was one of 2 inmates to die on October 3rd, 1937, during an attempted prison break from Huntsville State Prison. Notably, this was not the only time he had tried to escape. There were 2 other attempts, one made in 33 and then another in 34, a few months before Bonnie and Clyde were killed. So obviously their story has been heavily romanticized and sensationalized and retold just like so many times that it's kind of unclear to know what's actually true.
Right.
And honestly, I think...
Did they bury Bonnie next to Roy?
No, I don't think so. I'm not clear on that, but I really don't think so.
Okay.
But it's hard to know it's true, and I kind of think that they would prefer it that way. These last pictures are of...
Emma didn't like Clyde, but she also wasn't a huge fan of Roy.
I mean, Roy was also in jail.
It's a good mom. It's a good mom.
Yeah. There are 2 pictures of their gravestones.
This third one looks like
Please describe
McDonald's.
It. Please describe it.
I might have now actually realized I might have seen
it?
this car before. Okay, so for both Bonnie and Clyde, the tombstones are pretty small.
And they're like in the ground.
Yeah.
They're flat.
Bonnie was 23, about to turn 24, and Clyde was...
He would have been a year older.
Yeah.
Okay, read what's on Bonnie's headstone, though.
As the flowers are all made sweeter, it's the sunshine and the dews. So this old world is made brighter by the lives of folks like you. Which is a gorgeous little poem about a woman who went on a murder spree. Clyde's is so odd.
Yeah.
One, he doesn't have his own grave.
Yeah.
He's buried, I'm assuming, with a brother.
I would assume so, yeah.
Or a cousin. But he literally shares a grave with a cousin that died a year before he did. And so it's split in half.
It might have been Buck.
It's Marvin.
Oh, no. Never mind then.
Marvin L. Barrow, 1905, so older brother,
to
1933.
Well.
But the only words on it other than like the names is gone but not forgotten.
Which is just like, they were like, what are your options? And gone but not forgotten is like the first one, and then like good son, better father or something.
Gone but not forgotten is now the title of this episode. Yeah, understatement. Understatement. And then the final one is okay, so this is now I'm looking at the actual picture itself of the Bonnie and Clyde's vehicle riddled with bullet holes.
in the casino in Las
And
Vegas.
it's either real or an incredible makeup of it.
Yeah.
They did, or someone did along the process, feel comfortable writing things on this car. And then 2 mannequins that can't stand up fully on their own, so they're both leaning up against it. One of them has Bonnie has a beret, but not in the correct fashion at all whatsoever. But like gets several other things close.
Yeah.
And then all you can see is Clyde's backside, but just looks like he's about to go, "Hello, princess."
Shut the fuck up.
Which is not what they are either.
No.
And then there's just a sign next to it that says Bonnie and Clyde Death Car. But don't worry, it's next to a thing that says how Vegas, air quotes, was made, still air quotes, for a town they did not visit.
Or publicly visit. Yeah, it's hysterical to me. When you're in Vegas, you have to see it.
There is a McDonald's in the background.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm at the Taco Bell. I'm at the McDonald's.
I'm at the
McDonald's.
Bonnie and Clyde car,
Bonnie and Clyde Death Car McDonald's How Vegas Was Made exhibition. It's also not even the only car in the lobby. There's a different one also behind paint. And then if
I hate us.
Can I enhance? Enhance. I can't see what the other fast food option is, but it's not just McDonald's, and that feels good to point out too.
Incredible. Well, anyway, the story came together, and I feel good about it.
It feels great about it. Bonnie and Clyde, gone but not forgotten.
I kind of want to read Bonnie's poetry now. That last one really got me when I read it.
Also, if you didn't know their story and you were like a modern person today, Clyde and Marvin Barrow, gay.
I love that they're like, we tried to give you a nice headstone. You couldn't keep it up. So now you have to share a headstone with your brother cousin.
That also means that like brother, cousin, husband also also had his gravestone being stolen. So his also needed to be sunk into the ground.
It's beautiful.
They're both like
it's
gloriously nondescript, you know?
So nondescript. It's just fucking incredible. I told my coworker that I was doing Bonnie and Clyde for a story, and she went, "Oh, I love their story." And I was like,
"Why?"
I was like, "I don't think you know their story."
It's mostly neglect sprinkled in throughout with bad decisions.
Everyone I've talked to about this story has said something that I'm like, okay, you don't know anything about this story. Like, you've watched a movie, maybe the musical with Jeremy Jordan, which I can respect. But yeah, like earlier I was like, damn, I was finishing the story on the couch and I was like, this story is so sad. And he was like, oh yeah. And I was like, yeah? And he was like, yeah, I've heard it's sad. And I'm like, what do you know about it? And he was like, no, he said, from what I know about it, it's sad. And I was like, what do you know about it? And he was like, that it's sad.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
In fair cement city where we lay our scene, 2 houses, both alike in equal poverty, where civil crimes will make civil hands unclean. I don't know the rest of that. Deeper than I thought I was going to go.
That was crazy. That was wild. Oh, and also while all that's happening, the Dust Bowl is also happening. Thought I should mention that. Came up in a few sources and I didn't feel like getting into it.
So if you loved John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath, go ahead and set it here in that story.
You get the picture. Anyway, the next theme is DIY.
Yeah.
Settled on it while Grant was on vacation. Yeah.
Listen, I can't make any promises, but I will state intentions. We are entering a very short window of time where I am done with one history class before I have started other classes.
I'm excited about your story.
I might be doing a story, maybe even 2 if I really get ahead of myself, that aren't just directly a paper I had to write that week. But if I end up writing a paper on Queer Here, a historical development of space as a conduit to a gay male identity, just don't come for me, okay?
I'm interested, personally.
Cool. I'll email you all 20 pages. Let me know what you think.
Okay. Do you want notes?
No. But if there's a word that I spelled wrong. like it is a word, but it's not the word I'm trying
it's
to
not
use
like it's
there.
the their situation, but more
yes,
complex. Yeah.
Correct.
I'm thinking
Conscious versus conscience.
That's tough.
one you were saying out loud.
I might actually correct you to the wrong one.
I'll double check it.
Okay. And I think my next theme is going. I know.
Great.
I know. Because this is what happened with Checkmate. I announced it like so early. I was like locked in now, and it actually made the next like picking stories so much easier for me. I think it's gonna be Dynasty.
Okay.
And it might be a two-parter. We'll see.
It's gonna be really hard not to do a history episode on that one, but I hear you, and I'll do my best.
You can do whatever you want. You did Helen Keller for Checkmate. I think you can figure it out.
Killed the episode, by the way. Killed the episode.
Yeah.
It's been a big year of advocacy for me in my stories.
I've been noticing that theme.
Very much a reflection of the classes I've taken and one microaggression from Maia.
I said that during the Ida B. Wells episode. I was like, you've been doing a lot of minorities getting education.
And I'm like, that's not fair. That's just Bass Reeves and Ida B. Wells and Helen Keller and
Judy Heumann.
Oh yeah, Judy Heumann.
Just saying.
Some solid stuff, though.
I'm this close to doing a serial killer. I want you to know. I think it's
like,
just gonna happen.
As a story, or
yes, as a story.
You're the first serial killer in which people did see it coming. She announced it on air.
No.
Speaking of, where is Casey?
Shut the fuck up.
Husband?
He's upstairs.
No, his signs of life have been way more frequent when they were earlier this year.
Yeah, he truly. I was like putting on my shirt upstairs and I heard Casey mumble something and then start walking down the stairs. And so I'm walking down the stairs behind him and I'm like, what'd you say? And he was like, I just heard Grant say hi and I just figured I should probably say hi since you're up here. And I was like, oh, I'm going downstairs. And he was like, okay, great. And he turned back around.
Well, hi to you too, Casey. No,
he's not going to listen to this.
Okay.
He loves me, but not like that.
Sure. Our partners hear a lot about our story way before we record the story.
I think if you ask, you should do this next time at a party.
Actually, you should know more about this too.
For my edification, ask him what the last 5 stories I've done are.
I don't know if I know what the last 5 stories you've done.
What are the last 5 stories you've done?
I don't know. I don't think it goes Helen Keller, Ida B. Wells. No, because Ida
B. Wells, Helen
Keller. Ida B. Wells, Helen Keller. Bass Reeves, Judy Heumann.
I think you're missing Boudica.
Oh, I'm definitely missing Boudica. A great lesson on media literacy.
Great lesson on colonialism.
But like make it retro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Do you want to do the speech or are we just
wasn't sure where we were at.
Unless you have more thoughts on Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, listen, actually, not to tease out next week's episode.
Which is a listener story?
I have thoughts on St. Peter's Basilica in Rome that I kind
You've
of
had thoughts on just every fucking. He also had thoughts on the Familia Sagrada or whatever.
The La Sagrada Familia. Yeah. We can get into that too.
He said,
next
and
week.
I quote, I think it's ugly.
Collectively, we all thought it was ugly.
We does not include. I've never seen it in person.
We is in my family.
I know, but you said we, and I didn't.
Okay.
I want to make sure that they knew. I don't want to
find out what we're talking about next week on Well I Laughed, and to satisfy your cravings until then, you can follow us on social media where we are Well I Laughed. You can write to us if you have a story about DIYing it, doing it yourself, or dynasties.
Or whatever Grant's next theme is.
For sure happening at some point, yeah. Mm-hmm. We're still in the long period of my break, not the short period of my break where I have to turn 2 episodes around in 3 episodes. So
2
who knows what I'm about to do. But anyways, social media, write to us, welliLaughPod@gmail.com or the website, wellilaugh.com.
Not both.
Not both.
Traumatized.
Get additional content on Patreon. Write to us and address it to Maia if you need help getting onto Discord from Patreon. And you are always welcome to
may or may not see it.
Wish your fellow teachers a happy return to the school year, including yours truly, by requesting a cameo.
That's true.
Okay.
We do that.
I think I got it. Bye, friends.